Okay, guys. I am a. I like guns. I'll just be frank there. This video is basically because I found something funny to me. Now, I know about the Parkland shooting, at least I've heard of it. I do not like the idea that somebody went into a school and decided to blow up absolutely everything. I think that is horrible. I don't like that to happen. The problem is, it's the way these people want to go about it. Now, yeah, I haven't actually watched the whole video. I know it's only 50 seconds, 49 seconds long, but this isn't what sparked my interest. It's down here in the comments section. It's this guy, Andrew Jimenez, or Jimenez. This dude, this dude's got his crap together. And I've read the comments before, and Andrew, and this guy says he's 16, and this guy down here, Ramono Piloki, or P Pilauki, I don't know how to say it, Romono and Andrew, that's about all I could figure out. Everything else is speculation on how to pronounce the names. But this guy says he's 16, okay. This guy says he's 13, okay. That will come up later as relevant, but here's the funny thing. Actually, because you do go. Okay, first we're gonna watch the video. Let's watch the video first.
It's not just schools. It's churches. It's malls. It's streets. It's porches. It's concerts, like the one in Las Vegas. It's nightclubs. It's everywhere. And that's the common thread here. One of the common
Well, what's everywhere?
threads here. Like, Parkland was voted the safest city in Florida last year.
Parkland was voted safe. Does that mean that it's not still going to be attacked somewhere? Just because it's safe or it was voted the safest thing and it will never happen here, that's not a contingency plan. I've seen billboards on this. It makes perfect dang sense. That's not a contingency plan. If you don't have a backup plan. Oh, we just have a plan A. What about plan B? Well then you're going to get screwed over if you don't have a plan B or a plan C. Or it's kind of like a game of chess. If you don't have a backup plan to your backup plan to your backup plan. I know I am talking extremely fast, but it's just I get like this when there's something like this. It makes me laugh, it makes me giggly, mostly because I find it hilarious.
And they're saying, "Oh, it could never have happened there."
Yeah, I know that I got this far in the video, but it could never happen. Well, then if it could never happen here, why did it happen? Because you did not have a backup plan. If you had a backup plan, it probably wouldn't have happened or happened as bad. 17 people are dead. Okay, yeah, that's terrible. Why did it happen? Because nobody was there to stop it. That's my rationale anyway.
Well, it did. Because gun violence isn't picky. It happens.
No, violence in general isn't picky. People who want to cause a catastrophe aren't picky about who they hurt, who they stomp on, who they kick around. They're not picky about that. They would sooner see you dead than you know, I guess whatever kind of, I guess you could say like a mission, quote unquote mission, you know, finger thing, mission. If they want to hurt somebody, they will do it. That's just plain duh. They don't care what they use. It doesn't even have to be a gun. It doesn't have to be a gun.
Where it happens because it's a gun.
Wait, what? Go back. I think this is a good point. People are talking about it down in the comments. Let me see this one more time.
Because it's a gun.
Okay, that's my biggest problem. It's like, oh, I'm used to like 20-minute or so videos. It's like if I want to get like a whole thing, I go back about this far. But in these really, really short videos, you have to go back like here. So come back here.
Because gun violence isn't picky. It happens where it happens because it's a gun.
Gun violence isn't picky. It happens where it happens because it's a gun. No, violence happens wherever violence happens because the people who wanted the violence to happen made it happen. How much more plain can I explain that? Bad people will do bad things regardless to whatever controls or whatever on that you place in tariffs what you place on the product or whatever. Because it's a gun. No, it's because the people wanted it to happen. People who had it happen wanted it to happen, and it happened.
I'm highly cognizant of the fact that it's not just schools. And we can't allow this to become a school safety issue because it's not a school safety issue.
Yeah, it kind of is. Schools are a gun-free zone. Therefore, if someone like the shooter, his name being concealed, mostly because I don't want to remember his name. All I know is it's a dude. He had a gun. It doesn't matter what gun. It could have been a freaking musket. It could have been a shotgun. Now, he wouldn't have got that many people with a musket because I've shot muzzleloaders before. I've shot muzzleloaders before. I know how slow it is to reload. Even on a train. You put about 3 rounds through a musket, even if it's smooth bore, I would think. Even if it's smooth bore, about 3 rounds. Okay, about 3 rounds in a rifle bore. 3 rounds in a rifle bore, or 4 rounds, and then about 5 or 6 rounds, maybe. It may even be the same with smooth bore, but with muzzleloaders, after a few rounds, it becomes harder to reload because of the powder residue or something. It's harder to ram the bullet back down the barrel. It's not like a breech loader. You actually have to, okay, you pour in your powder, you put your bullet, and then you have to physically ram the bullet down the barrel. And with all the residue down the barrel, it's going to be harder and harder continually to actually ram the bullet down the barrel.
It's a people safety issue, it's a public safety issue.
That's also true. But the fact that schools are gun-free zones is also a thing that it would make it a prime target should a terrorist or something happen. And I like how these people are trying to push for gun control because, well, what happens after you... What happens after that? Well, if you get rid of all guns, all guns are illegal in America all of a sudden. Okay, then they're going to start using knives and bombs. And that's going to create a worse picture than if it was a shooting. Well, how is that possible? Well, outlaw bombs. Well, isn't it kind of illegal to make your homemade bombs? Unless you have a license? And in that case, the license is generally limited to, okay, I run a fireworks stand. I'm going to make my own fireworks. I need to import, like, magnesium powder and stuff. And fuse. That's about it. That's about where they go. Is it over? Is it over? Now it is. Oh, fudge. I did not want that. Escape, you booger! There, all better. And not only that, knives. Can you imagine walking in? Oh, there was a school knifing. Yeah, you walk in, and whatever footage they're going to show is going to be extremely visceral and disgusting because there are going to be limbs and body parts and blood strewn all over the place. There's blood strewn all over the place if you shoot somebody. Yes and no. It depends on where you get shot. You get shot in an artery or a vein. Well, of course, it's going to puncture some kind of a vein. But if you puncture an artery or a major vein or a major artery or something, or you're going to bleed a lot more than it, and in certain organs, you're going to bleed a lot more if you get hit there than if you just get hit in some random nowhere place. You know what I'm saying? If you get missed, if the bullet misses your organs, you're fine. If you take some chest shots, you're in trouble. But with bombs, okay, with knives, okay, you got visceral, gory crap everywhere. With bombs, you no longer have a school, or a pretty good section of a school, or a classroom. Property damages, entire building damages. So you can either have something that looks like it's straight out of a slasher flick, or you can have something that looks like it's straight off of Fox News. Not even just out of Fox News, but straight out of 9/11. Or just any other bombing. The building is blown up and burnt. You can either have that, or you can have extreme visceral stuff, or you can have a shooting. I'm not saying that shootings are good, and we should just promote shooting. No, shooting is terrible. Shooting other people is not, even in wartime. Even in wartime, that is a horrible thing. It's a horrible feeling to do. It's a horrible thing to do. But you have to do it because otherwise you're going to get shot. And guess what? If your entire army is depleted because they didn't decide to shoot you, they didn't decide to shoot their enemy, I got news for you. We wouldn't be. We'd all be invaded. Uh, handling crap. We would all be invaded by other countries because we don't have any armed forces. And if you take away the guns of Americans, the citizens, the militia, yeah, I know. The militia refers to the 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 militia refers to the National Guard. Where does it say that? National Guard is just a reserve form of the active army. What the freaking heck? Now, on to where the heck I was going before is down here in the comments with these guys. Andrew and Ramono. There's some better stuff. It gets really, really good. And this person goes on, okay, read more because otherwise. Okay, this guy says, because it's gun. How stupid can you be? She's neglected to mention that there was a person behind that gun. She is a... And that worthless coward of a cop didn't do his job to stop that guy with a gun. That is true. I saw a little bit of a footage. I didn't see anybody going in at all. I saw no cops going. They were standing outside and safety perimetering. That was it. That's all they were doing. Um, the children's lives were in danger. They were standing there, making sure, I guess, that he didn't exit the perimeter. The problem is, most of the shootings that I actually remember hearing about, all the shooters have decided to commit suicide directly after. So you're just going to wait for him to commit suicide, then you're going to go in and pick up his body? That sounds pretty weak. Okay, and this is... Yeah, she doesn't want all guns to be taken away. She wants... Yeah, this is my liberal voice, or blonde voice, or whatever. Let's see. All guns to be taken away. She wants there to be gun control. It's perfectly reasonable considering how many lives have been taken in the past. Gun control being... Because how many lives have been taken in the past? Are you just talking about guns in general, or just by shootings? Because guns in general, are you including wars? Are you including gang violence? Or just school shootings? Yeah, one school shooting is too many school shootings. But bad people will do what they want. Bad boys, what's they gonna do? They're gonna do whatever the dang heck they want until they're caught and brought to justice. What part of that don't you understand? Not only that, if you're including wars, well, yeah, they died. Because they were fighting for what they believe in. Most of them. Jeez. Besides the right to bear arms, besides, you're missing it. Besides the right to bear arms, you're missing a comma. And not only that, I will comment on this pre-hand. This person here, Ramono, complains to Andrew that he doesn't use correct grammar because he used the your as in, oh, this is your instead of your as in the contraction of you are. And yet this person misses a comma. Let's see. The right to bear arms doesn't apply to anyone. They have to be limitations. You don't know what the Second Amendment obviously says. It says this: the right for the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Meaning, the government they wrote away their own right to change that portion of the of that of that respect. They are not allowed to make any changes to the Second Amendment. Okay, where's I? I had to pause it there for a minute. I had talked to my sister about stuff. There had to be limitations. Where does it say that there has to be limitations? Like I was saying, the government no longer has the right because they wrote away their own right during the founding. And then the government nowadays will say, well, they didn't know what they were doing. These were some of the brightest minds in America. They were the brightest minds in America. You had scientists, you had full-on politicians, you had everything. They knew what they were doing. They did it in a legal manner. They said, okay, here's our document saying, we don't want to be a part of you anymore, England. You're ruining our lives at the moment. They were. I mean, they were just heavy tax, heavy tax, heavy tax. Oh, you're a good source of income. Let's use that. Abuse it to the fullest maximum extent. At least that's what taxation without representation. I mean, that's like, oh, taxes are due. They were due yesterday. Well, they're due again. What? You know, something like that. There are limitations to freedom of speech. Actually, no, there aren't. There actually aren't limitations to the freedom of speech. You just think that there are because I don't know. The only real limitations are all within our head. The right itself, there are no limitations set on that. Now, out of good judgment, we don't talk about certain secrets residing, like, if you have this guy, you come up and it's like, hello, do you know of any National Guard active service units that are stationed here right now? It's like, why? Oh, no, there isn't. He's wearing a turban and everything, and he's got suspicious beeping noise coming from his back pocket. You don't tell this guy that, oh, yeah, the 1st Airborne Division is stationed up in Fort Bragg right now, you know, whatever. It's like, you don't tell him that, because then he's going to walk over to Fort Bragg with a bomb strapped to his chest, blow open the gates, and then crap happens. You don't have that happen. You don't do that. You don't do that. But in general, freedom of speech. It's like, okay, we don't want to offend you. That's where the biggest limitation of freedom of speech comes. We don't want to hurt your feelings, and we're going to try and be nice. And like, that's pretty much it. You don't say that out of being polite. But I would say, when you infringe on someone else's unalienable rights, your own rights no longer apply. It depends on how far you really go. It depends on what are you even talking about here. I may just be stupid, but that honestly doesn't make any sense to me. I say, owning a gun with the intent to cause harm is basically stripping another human of all of their human rights. No, it's not. Owning a gun with the intent to cause harm makes you an outlaw that hasn't been revealed yet because you haven't done it. You just have the intent to cause harm. You haven't actually caused the harm. You're still within the law. Owning a gun in itself is not a crime. That's just, okay, this is part of my private property. And liberals hate that because they're trying to push communist agendas. Woohoo! And they are. It's like, oh, the government will take care of us. The government will take care of us. Okay, what happens when the government decides to abuse its power? Then what do we do? In every other country has it happened. In this country, it has happened before, somewhere. I guarantee it. I don't know the specifics. I need to look more into that, but yeah. I probably won't because I'm lazy, but hey, at least I'm being honest with that. But owning a gun with the intent to cause harm is basically stripping another. Owning something does not strip another person of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Killing someone kind of does, but you know. Let's see, one mentally unstable 19-year-old got access to a gun, a weapon of war, and took away 17 people's lives. Okay. This cannot be undone or justified. That's true. It cannot be undone or justified. But we can at least bring this fellow to justice, but I think did he commit suicide? I can't remember. I'm sorry, my brain is fried. I like my computer a lot. I like my YouTube and I like my gaming. But, okay, let's break this part down. Mentally unstable 19-year-old got access to a gun. Access meaning he, like, typed in a code in secret safe in the CIA headquarters and went, beep, and then there was a weapon of war or something. In that case, it's probably some UFO laser gun, not an AR-15, which stands for an Armalite 15, which that's what it stands for. Armalite was originally the people who built the AR-15, and they were going to sell it, but I think it said that they went bankrupt or something, so they sold the rights to Colt, and they started manufacturing it. The military variant was called the M16A1. Many gamers and various history nerds and so forth are familiar with this gun. Let's see, a weapon of war. What exactly qualifies as a weapon of war? Because every gun that you see somewhere can be considered a weapon of war. M1 Garand. Well, it's not black and scary, so that one would be okay. That was that was the main rifle during World War II, used by the Allies, used by the Americans specifically. What about the Lee Enfield? Also World War II and World War One. It was the British rifle of choice, or British rifle of issue, or something like that. I haven't heard any complaints against it, so. But not only that, how can you say weapon of war? Okay, you can't really say that because what about just your hands? The military still trains people in hand-to-hand combat, so your hands could be used as weapons of war. Swords and knives, weapons of war. Not necessarily too modern. Well, swords not so modern, but knives. People still, the militaries all still use knives. Special forces especially, all still use knives. Oh crap, I'm almost out of time. I'm gonna have to hit record again. I'm using cheap, so every 10 minutes I have to hit record again. Um, but yeah, I mean, what qualifies as a weapon of war? Sticks? You could fight people off with sticks. People back in the day used clubs if they didn't have swords because they didn't know about swords and stuff. Um, or had the technology to use swords or make swords. So what do? They grabbed big logs and sticks and clubs and had basically used them as clubs and killed people that way. What qualifies as a weapon of war? Pretty much anything that can be used in a war type scenario. So pretty much anything. You could use a laptop as a weapon of war. If you're in a war zone, currently in a war, and you kill a man with a laptop, that could be considered a weapon of war. Just beat him over the head. You know, a chair. Same thing. And bombs are obviously weapons of war. I mean, come on. Let's see, took away 17 people's life. Yeah, that's bad. Sure, there was a person behind that gun, but the fact that he was equipped with a gun, equipped, what do you mean? Somebody came out and said, here's your gun. Treat it well. You're now part of this sleeper cell militia or something. Really? Equipped sounds like he was handed it. He Okay, so I'm back. I had to take a long break for more than a couple hours or so, and talking about being equipped with this gun. Or that equipped with a gun shows that the U.S. government needs laws to prevent that in the future. The U.S. government needs to have laws to prevent a guy who supposedly, as far as I know, legally, not illegally, but legally went out, purchased this gun. It was legally his. At the age of 18, you can purchase long guns such as shotguns, rifles, stuff like that, carbines. Well, yeah, but well, maybe I am on a radio. Oh yeah. Um, okay. Aside from that distraction, back to this. Um, okay. Prevent that in the future. U.S. government needs to prevent that. Um, you're asking that the U.S. government stop people from legally purchasing firearms. Is that what you? And short guns, which are pistols and stuff like that, you know, just basically pistols in general. You can't purchase those at 21. Government needs law to prevent that in the future. What? That a guy goes out and buys his own dang gun with his own dang money because that's what he wanted to do with his money, and he bought it legally. What the heck? Um. So by following the law, they're putting themselves. Oh wait, no, my bad. I just skipped a whole bunch of crap. Let's see. Put the guns. You know that kids have to go to school. It's the law. Actually, if that's a law, that's not. The fact that you have your kids go to school by law, that's not really good. But you send your kids to school that way, they learn things. That way, they're not an absolute imbecile and then not taken for granted. That's the idea of a school. That people have a basic knowledge of things. That way they're not taken for granted on some like, well, our country said that you have to give those in need money, and I'm in need, so give me all your money. No, that's not. So by following the law, they're putting themselves in danger. So going to school is putting themselves in danger. Not necessarily. They're being taught things. That makes going to school putting someone in danger. Danger of what? Learning something? Well, but school shootings, which only happen every once in a while. The only reason why they've become more popularized is that people found themselves. That's the only way they found themselves to become 15 minutes of fame, apparently. Yeah, because one-hit wonders and music charts kind of died out in the 80s because that's when some of the last the last good music, honestly, was produced in the 90s and early 2000s. It's kind of like, okay, 80s, woo, good charts are going crazy with good music. I mean, you listen to 80s music, then again, only the good stuff survives. So in 10 years, Nicki Minaj is probably going to be an obscure thought in the back of people who's actually listened to her music or actually heard of her back in the day. Um, I'm not saying that she has bad music. I'm just saying that her taste in what is good music needs help. It's just when your more money goes apparently into your music videos than your music, it's not good. It also doesn't help that the people who are actually singing don't write their own music. They're just a headboard. The real magic makers are the people who actually know how to make music, know how to write music, know how to play music, know how to read music. I know how to read music, but it takes me a while. I'm not like fluent in reading music. Like, oh well, da 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 da, and bingo, and there's fudge. And then I can like chart out the entire leisure of the song. But aside from that, okay, back to this. My bad. I just went on a tangent on something that's completely irrelevant to large extent. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. So, shouldn't there be some security at schools? Yeah, that's why they're trying to arm teachers. That way, hey, in the event that there's a shooting and the security guy is either taken down or not available at the moment, there is a plan B. I talked about the plan B a little earlier, obviously. But, okay, yeah, you got your plan B. Armed teachers. Provided, yes, the teachers have to go through background checks. I had to take another break. Okay, where was I again? Um, okay, putting this on the security. Yeah, shouldn't children be ensured safety by following the law? Well, what are you talking about? If they follow the law, then they should be safe from being put in jail. I mean, what the heck? It's like by follow ensured safety by following the law, but in this case, this refers to going to school. It's the law. So what you're saying is, shouldn't children be ensured safety by going to school? Which makes no sense. I mean, you're out of school, you should be provided some. It should be a safe place to go. Yes. But schools aren't safe because they're getting shot up. That's because of people who have problems in their own lives, and they figure the only way that they can get attention to themselves and maybe some kind of help from it is by shooting up a school or doing some absolutely terrible act because they weren't being given the proper attention or proper help. Let's see, not everyone can be homeschooled. True, because not everyone is a teacher. Homeschooling generally happens when the parents say, "I've had enough of the school system. I'm going to school my kids because I want them to have a education that is either different or better than the one they're getting." And I will be honest, I actually had a in reference to the whole homeschooling thing. I was told by an old schoolmate of mine, me personally, I went to public school, kindergarten through third grade. Fourth grade, I was being homeschooled. Thing is, after, doing it a little while, I met up with one of my old school friends, and I had studied government and economics. I mean, I read the whole book, and my friend, that, she told me that they spent like a week or two on government alone. I'm like, that's not enough. You need to complete. That was one of the things that bugged me the most about public school is I never actually, for the most part, finished my actual career. There was always like a lesson or two left. Sure, were they reviews? Most likely. Yeah, I think they were. They were just reviews. But still, the fact that you don't finish your book from school, that's bad. That is severely bad. And the fact that these kids aren't getting taught economics and government because those are being pushed aside for just basic math and English and history and stuff. But they're not being taught about how the government works. They're not being taught about how the economics works, and that's where you come into here with these guys. I mean, well, not necessarily, but bad education leads to misconceptions of a lot of stuff, which is what this fellow has here. But those lives they've taken are gone forever because issue was a simple solution. Yeah, maybe have armed security guards or arm your teachers. That way, in the case being, you have something to prevent this from becoming something like instead of, okay, 17 people being shot, you maybe have only had 5. I know that's still 5 too many, but it's a lot better statistic than that. It's like, well, that's just a statistic. Yeah, I can already hear you in the comment section. Oh, that's just a statistic. You talk about statistics? Is that just statistics to you? Or you're child hating? I'm 20. Buzz off. Jeez. Yeah, I just played an age card. That was stupid. How about this? Just buzz off because this person's quoting statistics. This guy blew away 17 people's lives. Okay, that's a statistic. Um, and then this guy down here, he says, I'm a 16-year-old in high school. I'm assuming that this person thought that they were a whatever. I guess a grown-up or something. I'm a 16-year-old in high school, and gun control would not make me feel safer. This guy is in school, and he's like, gun control. And it's like, yeah, this girl up here, the bald lady. She's not blonde. She's bald. She might be blonde. I don't know if she like put some hair dye. But yeah, she wants gun control, but very tight gun control. She wants to ban on. She wants a ban on semi-automatics, and you have clearly been the one of the people to fall into media ignorance. Weapons of war. That argument is very invalid, and ignorant. A bolt. Okay, you should have ended it there, and then this would have began a either a comma or a period, and this would have been something completely different. So yeah, we're not perfect. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but still. Bolt-action rifle is a weapon of war. A ban on semi-automatics will strip people of the right to defend themselves. Feel free to tell me how. Guy says, feel free to tell me how to defend your home and your family with a bolt-action gun. Actually, you can do that. It's just you could do it, but it's a lot more difficult, I guess you could say. Unless you're really quick with the bolt, you better have a quick bolt. If you better be fluent with the bolt action, otherwise you're in trouble. I know I've shot bolt actions. You better not. You better hope you don't have just a cricket 22 bolt action, because if that's the case, you have one at 22 caliber. Yes, you can kill a man with that, but you better be a crack shot, and you only get one shot per thing because it's a single shot rifle. Just one shot, one bullet. That's it. That would be a liberal's dream gun, honestly. It's a little tiny bullet, and it only carries one, and that's all you ever need to hunt. I'm like, then the entire country would become over rampant with deer and hogs. Arkansas is already overrun with hogs. Oh crap, I just revealed I live in Arkansas. But yeah, we are overrun with hogs. I think it's open season on hogs, I think, because we have so many hogs running around. And them hogs get dang big, too. I once saw a picture of a hog. Was it from Arkansas? No. But here's the thing. I thought it was a bear at first, and then I saw what bears don't have tusks. That's a freaking pig. Holy cow. Feel free to tell me bolt action gun. I thought about every word I wrote down, and just because I don't have the same political views as you doesn't mean I didn't. I guess it means I didn't think about every word I wrote down. Okay, now for this guy. Um, why in the world would a regular person need to own a semi-automatic? Don't give me that defend myself bullcrap. Buy a security system. Get a pistol. Okay, yeah, that was a forced laugh because I've already laughed about this. Buy a security system. Have you ever seen any even TV shows? Well, where they hack where they hack security systems? Well, that's a rare occurrence. So are school shootings. School shootings have only started happening, honestly. School shootings only started happening in the last 5 years or so. I think, yeah. Sounds about right. I hate it when I get hair stuck. It's like it's not your hair; it's somebody else's hair. You find it and you pull it out of your clothes. It's like, what the heck? But yeah, yeah. It's only become a more recent popular occurrence because I mean that's what bad guys do. They go and they do whatever the heck they want to get either attention and infamy, which is attention. So yeah, that's what they do. And yeah, I know I said that by security system. Well, and security systems hacking that only happens on TV. Do you have any idea how many people can hack your security system? Especially now that they're all like connected to the internet and stuff. Nowadays they are. They used to be just they have like a direct line to a security system, like I guess a depot or something. I'm basing this off of commercialized software. What's that one? The I It's like blue and white and it starts with an I. I forget. It's like IDF. I forget. But but yeah. I mean, get a security system. People can buy robbers if they're experienced enough, and they will bypass your security system one way or another. Either by cutting off power to the house entirely, well, the security system is independent of power. Well, then they'll find a way to get past your security system and get a pistol. Get a pistol. Get a pistol. I'm afraid this guy doesn't realize that most pistols being manufactured nowadays by gun companies are all semi-automatic. Yeah, most pistols nowadays are all semi-automatic pistols. Yeah, because they found it was a more efficient way of self-defense. If you run out of bullets in your revolver, which generally the highest capacity revolver I've ever seen was 8 shots, and that was it because it was a 22. Um, but yeah, generally, and most revolvers they'll either have either 6 or 5. I've seen a lot of them have 5. I've seen some of them have 6, but yeah. So there's that. That makes no sense. Get a pistol. Most pistols are semi-automatic. And that this person says, why would you need to own a semi-automatic? So you're saying people don't need to own semi-automatics, yet you tell them to get pistols, which most of which are semi-automatic. Makes no sense. Don't get a weapon that we send with soldiers. Really? Don't get a weapon we send with soldiers. You can't legally purchase the M4 carbine. That requires a Class 3 weapons license, and Class 3 weapons licenses, that's a couple $100. I forget the actual price, but I think it's like, all I know is that it's in between $300 and $900 per year for a Class 3 weapons license. And then you are legally allowed to either own it. I don't know about owning, but operating, you can operate automatic weapons and stuff. I don't know entirely what Class 3 weapons license covers, but I know it covers automatic weapons. You're not only that, don't get a weapon that we send with soldiers. Okay, most of the time, people don't get weapons that we send with soldiers. When's the last time you actually saw somebody in a combat zone over in Afghanistan carrying a Heritage Rough Rider 22 revolver? When's the last time you saw that? Or a little, uh, like 38 ACP concealed carry gun? Or a shotgun that wasn't. Most shotguns over there, you find them and they've been modified for the combat scenario. Shotguns over here, most shotguns that people buy for their homes are mostly pump action. I think the ones that we send over there, some may be pump action, but I think most of them are semi-automatics now, or automatic, straight automatic shotguns or something. Um, so yeah, there's that. And don't get weapon that we send with soldiers. Does that mean we can't buy knives? Can't buy silverware plainly because they have knives, steak knives. Knives are knives. We can't buy knives because um, soldiers have knives, bayonets. That's a form of knife. You just have your basic fighting knives too. K-bar is not a bayonet; it's a regular fighting knife used by the U.S. Marine Corps, and they're very good quality because duh. Um, let's see. You're equating lives with a right that is in only regard to a well-regulated militia. Um, give me a minute. I'll be right back. Let me pause this real quick. I'll come right back. And I am back. Okay, I have my nice little pocket constitution, and it says, Amendment 2. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. A well-regulated militia, comma, being necessary to the security of a free state, comma. Okay, so you have your well-regulated militia, which is necessary to the security of a free state. Okay, that's one thought. That's one thought. And here's the other thought. after the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, comma, shall not be infringed, period. Notice how they say the right of the people to keep and bear arms. Why does it say that? It doesn't say that, okay, right here, in regards to a right that is only to a well-regulated militia, despite the fact that it says right here, the right of the people to keep and bear arms. Really? Really? And then they can further on dig themselves deeper. Do you consider yourself part of a well-regulated militia? Well-regulated? Nobody even has militias anymore. Don't let the NRA get in your head. The NRA hasn't gotten in my head. Just because I've looked at an American Rifleman magazine doesn't make me an NRA nut. I only go to their banquets because I think it's cool. Besides, you can get free stuff. Do they cost a lot to go to one? Sure. Is it freaking cool to go to one? Yeah. And I wouldn't want to be the guy to try and pop in there and try shooting because everybody in there has guns. You may not see the guns, but they have the guns. Don't you know that most of the leaders of the NRA own gun companies? No, actually, I didn't know that personally. But I got news for you. People who are in support of the Second Amendment, if they own gun companies, yeah, they're probably going to support the Second Amendment. Want to know why? That's what they like. That's what they do. It's kind of their company. They want to stay in business. They don't want to regulate gun control. They want money. Okay, yeah. Because, yeah, they want money. You want to know why they want money? So they can stay afloat instead of disappearing and becoming disbanded because they no longer have money to operate. Jeez. They don't care about the children's rights. They don't care about the public. It's called the National Rifle Association for a reason. They're worried about the Second Amendment because people don't like it and they want to get rid of it, despite the fact that the Founding Fathers put it in our Constitution, which is supposed to be the supreme law of the land. It decides how the government is run. It decides how the country is run. Yet, our government seems to have forgotten that. They didn't care about children's rights. What rights do children have besides life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness? Do they have all these other rights? Sure, but some of them don't apply because of age restriction. Like the right to vote, you're not allowed to vote till you're 18. What the heck? See, Amendment 1. Freedom of speech. Kids have a lot of freedom of speech. The only thing is some of the things they say are disrespectful, therefore we punish the kids and... Oh, punish! You're not supposed to punish the kids. Let them do what they want. That's where we get spoiled rotten brats who we see in Walmart and are like, good grief, I'm glad I'm not like them people. Or we think that, man, if that was my kid, he wouldn't say that ever. Yeah. Not only that, not all amendments apply. Even just after First Amendment, which applies to freedom of speech. Second Amendment, which applies to the right to keep and bear arms. Third Amendment, no soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in any house without consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. That doesn't have anything to do with kids, aside from the fact that, oh, there's a soldier in the house, and he's for a while. Yeah. Okay. Going down to this fellow, who debunks this guy's dude. I like reading through this guy because he makes sense. I'm not an NRA member, nor do I support them. I do think they fight for gun rights for the wrong reason. I honestly don't know. And they are in no way in my head, okay? You have proved yourself pretty ignorant on the topic as well, so I will educate you. We send most of our soldiers off to war with a fully automatic Colt M4 carbines, not AR-15s. True. That is extremely true. A difference between an AR-15 and M4? The fact is structure, really. Yeah. M4 carbines are generally, I think, they're lighter than the AR-15s. Not only that, generally shorter. I mean, a carbine is short. AR-15 is a rifle. Rifles are generally longer than carbines. That's what carbines are basically interpreted as, short rifles. And pistols are just as dangerous, if not more, than an AR-15. Yeah. Why? You can conceal pistols better than an AR-15. Because if a guy tried to conceal an AR-15, unless he illegally made it a sawed-off AR-15, it's going to be pretty hard to conceal. The thing is at least 3 foot long, quite a few inches wide or thick, and can you imagine walking into, trying to conceal that while going into a mall? If you are an attempting mass shooter, you know what's going to happen right then? You're going to walk in. You're going to have a big bulge coming out the side of one of your shoulders or your jacket, and people are immediately going to start running. By the time you get your jacket off, everybody's gone to pull your rifle around. So yeah, um, pistols are just as dangerous as an AR-15. A mass shooter could shoot up a school, mall, or church, or any other place very easily with a pistol. Because guess what? Pistols are semi-automatic. Yep. Um, well, not all pistols, but most pistols. Defending yourself is not bullcrap. I would not ever like to be a victim, and luckily I live in a country where I don't have to, or have to be a victim. Lovely. I don't want to be a victim either, because generally victims are part of a crime scene. And defending yourself is not the only reason for the Second Amendment. It is also to fight the government if we have to. That's where the security of a free state comes in. It's like, well, the and I like it. I've heard liberals say, well, the founding fathers had no idea tyrannical governments. I'm like, they were kind of fighting one at the time. It's kind of the reason why we declared our independence. Remember that we were fighting England? It's kind of the reason why we had the American War for Independence or American Revolution, whichever terminology you use. Let's see. It is not something that will happen today or tomorrow, but it is always a possible issue. Exactly. Kind of like shootings nowadays, anyway. That's why we want to arm teachers. That's why we want to have security guards at these schools. That way, if a shooter decides to try and shoot, we shoot back and we defeat him. Duh. Let's see. Before you try and come to spit facts at me, please educate yourself and you are more proof. Please educate yourself. Should be a period there. You are more proof that most who support gun control are completely ignorant about guns. Yep, pretty much. Okay. You didn't answer any of my questions. He answered, okay. Questions? 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 What questions? Here. Don't you know that you asked one. Okay, this right here. Okay, he didn't. He's counterman. You're in a debate. Counter. He's countering your arguments with his arguments or facts. You have your opinion, he has his opinions, and logic is saying these make more sense to me. Now, if you're a liberal watching this, you're not going to agree with this guy. You're not going to agree with me on this situation. Want to know why? Generally, okay, you may be a liberal and agree with this, but I got news for you. If you support gun control, you're not going to like what I say or what Andrew says. Want to know why? Because we make sense. Kids alive via no gun control or via armed security people instead of taking guns away from the people who have the skills or could possibly stop a mass shooting. Okay, you can do. Okay, really? Really? You didn't answer any of my questions. He just counted. Jeez. I'm a 13-year-old. Yep, that's nice. There's that 13-year-old part I was talking about. Answer any of my questions, but let me tell you this. You may. Oh, You didn't answer any of my questions, but let me tell you this. You may keep calling me an ignorant and childish. I'm a 13-year-old. Yes, 13. You're so mature. You're only 1 year above 12. Really? You're so mature. You are being ignorant and childish. You're acting like a child. The teenage years are one of the most. It's like the terrible twos reborn. Is really all it is. It's just this. Teenagers always have attitudes. Most of them. They always have some kind of an attitude. Everybody always has some kind of an attitude, but it's just hormones are swinging and fighting and crap's happening and it's weird. Puberty is a nightmare. I have to go to school. Yeah, there are people who are in their 30s who are going to school. It's called college. Let's see. I'm a 13-year-old. I have to go to school. My mother bought me a bulletproof vest to wear to school. Are you kidding me? Your mother is paranoid enough she bought you a bulletproof vest for school. Oh, wow. On a walkout, half my school was crying. You're saying you're one of the survivors? Is that what you're saying now? Were you there? Is that what you're saying? Half my school was crying. We lost 17 lives. We lost children and teachers and good people. I'm not saying all guns should be stripped from people. I'm just saying it should be harder to obtain one. Harder to obtain one. You obviously don't realize that you have to be 18. I've said this before. You have to be 18 for long guns. You have to be 21 for pistols and small guns. And harder to obtain one. You do realize you have to go through a background check when you purchase a firearm from a legal arms dealer, right? You have to go through background checks. And you have to wait a little while. It may take 10 minutes. It may take an hour. Depends on how much, I guess, they do background checks on people. They do. Otherwise, at my very first NRA banquet, the cricket rifle that I won, I would have been able to just take it back to my table without any cares in the world. Nobody cared, and I could just, it'd be mine. No background checks, no legal documentation. Thing is, my dad had to sign for it on a background check paperwork. Doing background check paperwork. They called it, it's like, okay, where were you born? He was born. And Dad said, okay, he's born in this place. And they did checking, okay, were you born born here? And it's like, okay, yeah. And then when everything checked out, it was like, okay, here you go, sign here. Okay. Um, harder to obtain one. The thing about having a harder to obtain firearm is if they pass the background checks, it's like, okay, now what are you going to do? You're going to take psychological tests? Isn't that what background checks are for? You weren't in any crimes, you weren't in any problems with involving guns or drugs or anything like that. I mean, see, this is what liberals want. They want people to have. It's so hard to obtain guns that they'd rather not just buy guns whatsoever, and then we just have the gun industry be demolished forever. One thing leads to another. If you're really defending the fact that a mentally unstable person got access to a gun, if the mentally unstable person had a clean record, background check isn't going to pick up on his mentally unstableness. Get access to a gun, whatever it may be, probably, then you're probably pretty messed up in the head too. Really? He's messed up in the head for presenting facts and logic. Oh my gosh. Um, these people are gone forever. And we should do all we can to prevent that in the future. That's kind of the reason why we want armed guards and armed teachers who pass background check. That way they can defend the school against such things. What do you want? Like a 20-foot 4 high concrete wall with barbed wire on the top? Make school look more like a prison instead of a school? Really? That's what you want? Doesn't sound very nice. Um, these people are gone forever. Playing that card that people are dead, people are dead, people are dying every day from natural causes. I don't hear you protesting natural causes. Really? You're playing an emotional card, is what he's doing. He's playing an emotional card, which is how a lot of people win arguments, apparently. Do you think a gun is the best solution to protect yourself? But if criminals and psychos no longer had access to guns, I don't think you realize there's such a thing called the black market, where the only thing on the black market that matters is, do you have the money? Yes, I have the money. Do you have this specific item that I want? Oh, you wanted that? That's going to cost extra. Okay, I've got that money too. Well, then here you go. Here it is. Okay. And then that's how black market works. The only thing that matters is money. Doesn't matter location, doesn't matter who you're selling it to. As long as they got the money and it's real money, you good. Um, Not only that, um, there was a my sister made a point when I was ranting about this earlier before I decided to record this because I thought it was so hilarious. She said, um, you think gun is the best solution, but if criminals and psychos don't have access to gun, okay, yeah, there are illegal drugs in this country, opium and heroin and stuff like that, you know, LSDs, marijuana. Believe it or not, I don't think marijuana should be legalized. Um, but people are doing it because it gets my fix. That's why they legalized it. Um, there are illegal drugs in this country. How did they get here? If they're illegal, put a ban on those things pretty much. I mean, they're illegal. Anybody who has them is arrested. So, why are they here if they're illegal? If you make guns illegal, they're still going to find them. Let's see. What do you have to be afraid of? Bears? Do you live in a cabin in the middle of the woods? No, we're kind of afraid of people shooting at us in a breaking and entering situation in the middle of wherever we live, regardless of wherever we live. For example, the school shootings you keep referring to. We don't want that to happen. So we want guns to stop the other people. Duh. My gosh, people are... I am proud of these students. They're not stripping the rights of others. Actually, they're inhibiting the rights of others, despite the fact that... and I quote, where is it again? The right of the people to keep and bear arms, comma, shall not be infringed. Infringed. I shall return. And I'm back. Okay, I have my trusty little Webster's dictionary here with me. I don't know if you can hear that. Those are the pages turning, the pages of truth turning. Phew. Which is funny, because in their English languages, that's spelled the same as Hue, which is a city in Vietnam. Infringe. We are in the eyes right now. Index, indeterminable, ineffable, inflexible, inflicts, information, influenza, ingenuous, infringe, verb, also can be pronounced infringe, infringing, infringed. 1. To break or ignore the terms or obligations of an agreement, comma, law, comma, etc. Semicolon, violate. So to infringe is to violate. Definition 2. To trespass, to encroach. To encroach. Let's look up encroach. Encroach. Endanger. Enlarge. Nope. Encrust. Encroach. Verb. To intrude gradually on the possessions or rights of another. To trespass. Yeah, you're kind of inhibiting our rights. How about that? It's like, they're not stripping the rights of others. That's right, they're stripping the rights of the people. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Do away with all semi-automatics, and what are you going to do? You're going to go collect up all of our semi-automatics that millions of Americans own? Law-abiding Americans? Is that what you're going to do? Really? because that's kind of encroaching on our rights to keep and bear arms, which shall not be infringed. My goodness. Okay, we lost 17 lives. Yep, I've already gone over that down here. Protect yourself. I'm proud of these students standing up on their own. I'm sorry if I don't have a lot of gun knowledge. I don't really think that's in the debate. You're talking about gun control. You should know something about guns. Really? That's like going into a World War II history debate and saying, well, I don't. All I know is that Hitler was a bad guy and the Americans were shooting all the Germans and that Hitler killed Jews. That's all I know. Really? That's all you know about World War II. Same thing here. I'm sorry if I don't have a lot of gun knowledge. If you don't know a lot about guns and how they work and how the behavior of guns go, which is in itself an inanimate object, so it can't do anything unless somebody picks it up and uses it, I don't really think that's in the debate. You're talking about guns, you might want to know something about guns. Please explain to me, which is more important to you, lives or guns? Well, if guns can save lives, or people can use guns to save lives, I should say, well then, it's a bit of both. Let's see, then this guy replies, you're still with the media ignorance, and, oh, and you wrote a pretty long comment, so I forgot about the militia question. To the second, the Second Amendment says that people have a right to a well-maintained militia, or a militia. Yeah, it's supposed to be militia. Um, it also says that the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It does not say that only the well-maintained militia gets gun rights. And nowhere did I ever say that a crazy person should be able to get a gun. Yeah. No crazy people should get guns because then they go and they start shooting up places. Like YouTube. Yeah. Apparently there was a shooting at YouTube not too long ago. Not good, but at the same time, mentally unstable people, if you ask me. People who were driven extremely by emotions and had problems, if you ask me. Um, Nowhere to say that crazy person, so don't put words in my mouth. And just because I disagree with you politically does not mean I'm a murderer or that I don't care about the children and staff killed in the shooting. That's the same thing David Hogg likes to do, which is one of these students who is violently opposed. He's like, he wants gun control and stuff, and he's playing a lot of emotion cards. From what I see, I mean, I saw bits of his speech. I was like, really? You're just playing emotion cards, dude? Come up with some facts. To do, and you would like to be taken seriously, don't go down that route. I do think we should have armed guards in schools. Now, in Australia, they did a semi-automatic gun ban. The bad guys did not turn in their guns. Armed robberies went up 68%. So just because they make it, yeah, more punctuation problems. So just because they make it harder for bad guys to get guns does not mean they won't have them. So self-protection is still a relevant fear after a ban like that. I have proved your ignorance and answered your questions. GB Bandicam, 10 minutes at a crack. How about that? Where was I going? Yeah, this entire statement right here. Just because I disagree with you politically doesn't mean that I am or we are, because I should say I agree with this guy. Don't care about the children that killed in the shooting. Did I know them personally? No. Does that mean I don't care? No. It means that this is a travesty. This is horrible, and I don't want it to happen again. Okay, so Andrew Jimenez. Okay, this guy again. Let's see. Sure, proved with your own outdated opinions. Oh yeah, is after this. Was it this or forget where he says age 16. Crap. Oh well, probably beforehand, but yeah, it said outdated opinions. I think you're scared. You know that our generation is gonna take people like you out. Your generation. There's one problem with this. Outdated opinions. Okay, so we're not progressive enough, so we're a bunch of traditional people. The thing is, if you have no solid ground to stand on, everything falls apart. You try to build stuff during a rainstorm on muddy soil, you're not going to get very far. Because, yeah, just had some side commentary there. Build the house from the top down. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so, yeah. And, you know, our generation is going to take people like you out. You're only 3 years apart, so really, what qualifies as him and from you to Andrew as different generations? Last I checked, you're in the same generation with me, and I'm 20. Yay. Let's see. We're, you may say we're ignorant and self-absorbed, but we have morals. Yeah, you have morals in the line that you don't like people being shot. But everything else is okay. Oh, sure. Be promiscuous. You can marry whoever you want, regardless of whether or not they're the same sex as you. And then, you can, have sex before you're married, despite the fact that, you know, you that's something that is specifically reserved for married people who want to have children, because in the course of human events, that having sex is sexual reproduction of the human species and will produce, in fact, a child if successful. And then, as newfound parents, it's your responsibility to take care of that child. Mhm. We're going to change the U.S. operates. Why? What's the matter with it? Aside from the fact that our government is trying to, or the people are trying to push the government into pushing socialistic, communistic ideas on Americans. Bare bones, it was working great. And we're going to utilize our compassion. You're going to move with feelings instead of using your head. Yeah, that doesn't go over very well at all. If you fly by the seat of your pants by using all your compassion and your feelings, I got news for you. Instead of using your head, have you ever see if you just lash out irrationally, you're going to find yourself very confused, very sorrowful because you messed something that you would have loved up, and it's going to make everyone miserable. Again, I hear you saying you want to protect yourself. You are putting yourself above others and not considering how many people have died because of your beliefs. Okay, let me get this straight. He's not the only one who believes that guns can help people as well as hurt people. Okay? You're putting yourself above others. Why? Because he wants to live? You're saying he should just go and get shot for your beliefs? Is that what you're saying? He should get shot? Is that what you're saying? Because that sounds pretty much like you're saying. He should lower himself below and before everyone else, so we can ban all semi-automatic firearms and then have a secondary revolution against all the liberals in America. Is that what you want, or something? You just want him to get shot because he shouldn't have guns? Is that what you're saying? How many people have died because of your beliefs? How many people have lived because of his beliefs? What about that? How about the fact that we're not a Nazistic country right now because gun control wasn't in place back in the day? People back then had firearms in their homes. Not only that, what about the military? Huh? What about the military? You want to get nobody needs a semi-automatic firearm. What about the military? They have fully automatic. We get rid of semi-automatic. That means fully automatic's even more dangerous by your things. by your logic and reasoning, yes, it can be. It can also be safer. Depends on the person who's using it. So you're saying we should just get rid of all firearms that we give to our, saying the military should go back to using nothing but bolt actions? Let's see. You're either on one side or the. Oh my gosh, the dogs. Shh, 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 shh. Shut up. Okay, so you're either on one side or the other, and you're going to be on the wrong side of history, whether you believe that or not. What? Wrong side of history? What are you talking about, wrong side of history? You mean somebody lied to the history books? And that's what he's believing? Because that's what's being taught? Do you have some secret heavenly knowledge that no one else has or something? If you're on the wrong side of history, you're just reading a messed up history book. Or the Sun magazine that you find in the cuckoo section of Walmart magazines. Wrong side of history? What the heck? Either on one side or the other. Okay, yeah. And you're going to be on the wrong side of history. Wrong side of... Where's the wrong side of history? Throughout history, there is good and there is bad. Yes. But how are you on the wrong side of history? History is the collection of knowledge and things that happened in the past. Would you believe it or not? I know I may not be using solid facts, but we are the change. There need be no statistics to prove that. Really? If you're not using solid facts, that makes you untrustworthy. That means nobody wants to trust you, meaning you're not going to get very far, or shouldn't get very far. We're the change. Uh-huh. You're a change that's not using solid facts. You're in trouble. There need be no statistics to prove that. Prove what? That you're not using solid facts, or that you're the change. I think in the case being, there's no statistics need to prove that we are the change. He's the change in him and all his classmates. Shh. I'm not taking you out. That's your mommy's job. Hmm. Let's see. There be no statistics to prove that. Yep, that's nice. No statistics need to be proved that you're ignorant of the entire situation. Well, outdated opinions is dead wrong. You tried to tell me that we send off our soldiers with AR-15s. I debunked that. Yep. There's not. That's not a matter of opinion. It is a fact. Our soldiers have M4 carbines. It is also a fact that pistols, most pistols, are semi-automatic. Is not opinion. Let's see. It is also a fact that Second Amendment also says it shall not be infringed, and does not say only for a well-maintained militia. These are all facts and not opinions. Do a quick Google search. Yeah, because that's where most kids are raised now, is Google, because the parents have failed in teaching them life lessons. Let's see. It is also a fact. Well-maintained Google search. Um. So therefore, I prove your lack of knowledge on the topic by giving you facts. I proved your ignorance. Now, I'm not putting my beliefs in front of other people's lives. I warned you how stupid you would make yourself if you said something like that. I have my opinion that we should have armed guards in schools, and yours is tight gun laws. So, no, I'm not putting people's lives ahead of my beliefs. Now, just because I enunciated that wrong. Now, just because CNN and all the big news channels only show liberals does not mean that there are not conservatives. Not they, but I live in Texas, so there are not very many liberals. You're not very many liberals. You're forgetting a lot of your generation is not anti-gun. The media just neglects to show that to you. By the way, the last thing I'm afraid of is a group of liberals who think they have more power than they really do. Okay, and then this guy's like, okay. And then this one makes no sense. Love one another. Peace, love, unity, prosperity, calm, wisdom. Okay, you just went through thesaurus. That's all he did. Yeah, that's nice. You gave a lot of, yep, clean energy. What the heck is clean energy? Even when your body sweat, you produce BO. Um, so if I'm outside, what do I do? And If I'm outside, what do I do? And security systems alert you. Alert you. Most home invasion victims are killed if the invader has intent to. Yeah, this guy makes sense. Without guns, humans are safe. Uh, oh. Without humans, guns are safe. Without guns, humans are dangerous. Pretty much, yeah. Without humans, guns don't do anything. Even without guns, humans can still kill each other. And then this person who comes back, and this is kind of a secondary part, I guess you could say, I'm going to add on, because this person tries to do the same thing. An AR-15 is a weapon of war. You don't need a weapon like that to defend your home from burglars or whatnot, no more than you need an F-16 fighter jet or an Abrams tank to defend your home. Nicholas okay, yeah, that's the shooter's name. This guy took 17 lives in 6 minutes and 20 seconds with a semi-automatic AR-15. Do you honestly think he could take 17 lives in 6 minutes and 20 seconds with a sporting knife or even a bolt-action Model 700 deer rifle by Remington? Okay, so you looked up a generic bolt-action rifle, kind of. It is also used as a sniper rifle by the Army. And he could have taken that many with a sporting knife and a bolt-action rifle. If you're proficient enough with either, if you know the layout well enough, know where the people are well enough, okay, even without knowing the people, 6 minutes, that can be a really long 6 minutes and 20 seconds. Believe me, 17 lives, piece of cake. Jeez. With a sporting knife, people have been killed over in Europe and in Asia with knives, and they got about 20 people or more. Bolt action rifle, you get a good enough crowd of people together, it only takes one shot through the crowd. You bullets bullets can pass through more than one person. Again, weapon of war is an ignorant argument. Did you read anything of what I've said? Yeah. Guess what? The military uses Remington 17. It's not 1700, but 700s. So guess that makes it a weapon of war. The point is that there's no sense in taking it away from millions of abiding citizens. It's abiding, actually. I know I'm a grammar Nazi, as they say, but still. Law-abiding citizens for the actions of a few. Yeah. You clearly have not read anything I've posted, and you're clearly just as ignorant as Ramono. Um, and again, the Second Amendment isn't about hunting. It's clear. It's about the right to protect yourself and the right to fight a government tyranny. Not hunting. I've already been through all this. Please read my other comments before you comment with the same uneducated comments the left makes. Have a nice day. The argument isn't to take away guns from law-abiding citizens. It's to monitor the distribution of guns. That's why it's called gun control, not gun confiscation. Generally, gun control can lead to gun confiscation. Because not only that, what's this I keep hearing about wanting to take away AR-15s from the people? That's gun confiscation. Gun control, and not only that, distribution of guns. What, they're just handing them out? Like, yeah, stop by the warehouse. We'll fix you up with about 5 of them. Yeah, we got 5 extra. Really? Monitor the distribution? You got a security camera looking at the Cabela's? Really? Okay, so basically I was... Okay, we live. Yes, okay, good. Because... came back from getting my wisdom teeth taken out today, so if I sound different, that's why now. And, I made like 3 videos. I recorded 3 videos. I realized that my mic was disconnected. So the first word that went through my head was crap. Now I gotta do that all over again. So now I'm doing it all over again. It's pretty funny that you call me ignorant in the same sense you use wrong as in you are. You can only call somebody so yeah. This person goes, and this is where he's talking about grammar. Really? Really? Okay, I've gone. You're correcting his grammar in a gun control debate. Granted, yes, I would like to have people improve their grammar, but and punctuation, but you're in the middle of a gun control debate right now, dude. This is something you do like after it's over. It's like you should have added side note, hello, um, can you please check your grammar? Because right now you're just being a butt, and when you act like a butt like this, he's just gonna do it more. And then he continues. Wait, so you think it's normal to carry a gun without around with you in public? You must have pretty bad paranoia. Why? Because we want to be prepared in the case that we are caught in a shooting? Keep talking about, oh, school shooting, gun control solves the school shootings, then people won't have the guns. Well, if we all, but there's the flip side. If we have guns, we can shoot back and maybe, I don't know, prevent death from happening. Except on the case that the shooter, the one whose intent was to harm people, who whose intent was to harm the people contained within that building. I can't really say that they did anything to him because in the case of the Parkland shooting, I mean, I watched this one little, it was a little clip video from one of the news channels here on YouTube that, the girl, the Emma Gonzalez girl, she said, you didn't know this kid, you didn't know him, you're saying that we were bad because we ostracized him? Oh, yes, there's a nice word to look up, ostracize. I would like to inform you that ostracizing is kind of a form of bullying. Actually, ostracized. Here we are. Os. It's ornithology. Osculimbarian. Osculate. Osa. Ostra. Ostracize. To banish or exclude from a group. To banish or exclude from a group. Basically, they on purposely outcast him. Just period. They purposely outcast him. What kind of a jerk do you have to be to do that? He might have been a cool kid to hang out with. You don't know because you ostracized him. That's a form of bullying. And while that may not have been the direct cause of him wanting to shoot up the school, it sure gave him a target to put out his anger on. Because I was told, it's like, well, why don't you look it up? Because I trust my mom and dad to tell me the truth. They said that his parents were taken away or something, or he just lost his mom, she died or something. That's rough. That's rough. And on top of that, he was ostracized by, apparently, I'm going to assume everyone in the school as a weirdo. That's stressful. That's stressful. Because in public school, one of the biggest ever deciding factors is peer pressure. Peer pressure. Well, you're not in with the cool crowd, so you're a weirdo. So we're going to not hang out with you. Really? Really? This kid could have been the coolest guy ever that you could have ever known, and you ostracized him. He needed help. He needed a friend. Friends can provide help. They can be somebody to lean on. He, all of a sudden, had no one to lean on. And on top of that, he was being monitored by the FBI or something, I guess. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. That part is hearsay. That part I'm not entirely sure of. But when you're being monitored, you're being like watched like a hawk, that's stressful. That is stressful. And then you have no one to lean on. That's stressful. You lost your mom. That's stressful. You actually lost both his parents. I think it was the dad first, then the mom. But still, that's insanely stressful. Something snapped. He snapped. He had nothing, nowhere to go. He had all this emotion, which turned to rage, built up in him, and he pointed it somewhere. That's why this happened. So, while being ostracized may not have been, it was an indirect and direct factor at the same time. You see, and you must have pretty bad paranoia. Carry pepper spray, the rape was. I can't, I can't not laugh. I've read this comment before. I can't not laugh when you say carry pepper spray. Okay, yeah, that's somewhat effective. Or a rape whistle. A whistle. A, tweet! Help me! You know what everyone around you who watches sports channel is gonna do? Follow the play. That's what you're gonna get. That's what you're gonna get. A rape whistle does nothing more than sound like a loud whistle. My dad told me, oh, well, it's supposed to be so loud that it, like, I guess either scares the guy off or hurts his ears. I'm like, any whistle, you get a standard coach whistle. A football coach's whistle. You get close enough to somebody, it's loud. It's loud at 25 feet away. It's loud. It doesn't matter. Matter of fact, if you blow a rape whistle at close range, that's probably only going to make your assailant or whoever's making you uncomfortable just more mad. All you did was tick him off. And carry pepper spray. Pepper spray is only effective up to about 3 feet. It's only accurate, I should say, up to 3 feet. It's effective beyond that, I wouldn't doubt, provided you get a good enough whiff. But its max range is like 3 feet. That's like a almost hand-to-hand situation effective weapon. Not only that, in a shooting situation, if someone pepper sprays you, or say you're in a combat situation, I'm not even going to say you're the shooter. If you're in a combat situation, then somebody maces you, you're blind, and you're getting shot at, or you're shooting at a target, if your first instinct is most likely going to be to shoot in every direction at once to hit whoever blinded you, because obviously they're not a friendly person. That's only going to make matters worse. In a shooting, if you get that close, your first instinct should be try to disarm him. If you have to do it from behind, that's probably one of the best ways. It may be the worst ways. But disarm him if he's a shooter. Could he have more than one gun? Yes, but if you disarm him, you have his gun that he was currently holding. Now you can hold him at gunpoint and say, stop, cease and desist. You have the power now to end it. Good grief. Are you really hanging around sketchy places that's necessary to have a gun in your hand with you? I got news for you. If you're in such a place, any place, it doesn't matter whether you're in a bank, the Empire State Building, White House, airport, standing on the roof of your apartment building, if your gun is in your hand, that means you're about to use it. Whether you're on a range, whether you're on a shooting range, or whether you're in a hostile situation. But generally, if you're just walking around, it's concealed carry. It's in its holster. It is in its hidden spot where you're fine. You're not gonna, really. You shouldn't, like, not only that, it's like, you hang around such sketchy places. Yes, because schools are such sketchy places. You keep complaining that school shootings are terrible, and well, in the case of a school shooting, if I have a firearm, I'm going to start shooting back at the guy who's shooting at me. I am going to protect myself. Sorry about the audio. It's probably going to loop over because I got the TV Bandicam. Woohoo! Cheap Bandicam because, well, I am broke. That's pretty much how that goes. When you're broke, you use what you've got. And that's why I've got what I've got. Besides, gun control isn't going to confiscate your firearms. The guy contradicts himself. He says, why would you ever need a semi-automatic? And yet, most every gun owner ever has had at least one semi-automatic firearm, whether it was a shotgun, a rifle, or a pistol. That's just how that goes. And gun control isn't going to confiscate firearms. Well, if you ban or try to get rid of semi-automatic firearms, what are you going to do? Because there are people out there who still have semi-automatic firearms, and they're probably any like gun owner, traditional American kind of guy, not going to give them away. Not unless he's flat broke and is going to sell them, but not going to give them away for free unless this is somebody he deems worthy to have that gun. And, okay, gun control is confiscate your firearms. It's going to prevent, to the best of its ability, future criminals from getting access to dangerous firearms. As I've said before, black market. It doesn't matter. You black market. All that matters in the black market, do you have money? You have the money? Okay. I'm gonna cost extra. You got the money for that too? Okay. Here's your money. I don't want to see you again. Unless you want to do more business. So you know where to find me, you know. That's how it works. There are illegal drugs in this country, as I have mentioned before. How did they get here if they're illegal? Huh? How did they get here? We have control, meaning we have people who go out, find out who's selling these drugs, and do the best of their ability, try to arrest these people selling these addictive drugs, these illegal drugs. So, why are there still drugs that are illegal and being distributed and sold? Not distributed, but sold. Why is this happening? Hmm? If control works so well, if bans work so well, why are there better yet, in the 20s, in the 1920s, why was there so much alcohol floating around? I'm not kidding. Where do you think? I think that I'm more than willing. I'm really, 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 really sure. Not entirely. I'm not 100% sure. I'm like 99.87562% sure. Okay, that Manhattans and martinis, these pretty danged alcoholic drinks, they were popularized and pretty much invented during the 20s and 30s. The 20s, yeah, we had a ban on alcohol. Meanwhile, everybody was drinking alcohol. Underground kind of clubs, speakeasies and stuff. But they still had it. Same thing, you can do the same thing with firearms. And then, okay, yes, your goal is gun confiscation. You said nobody needs an semi-automatic, implying that you would be for a ban of semi-automatics, which would require a confiscation. So yes, your agenda is to confiscate guns from law-abiding citizens. You also have clearly run out of arguments. We're having a political debate, and you're correcting my spelling. Yeah, that's correcting your spelling is pretty much unnecessary. If you said, okay, as a side note, can you please um, do better with your grammatical terminology and punctuation? If you would have worded it like that, okay, yeah, then okay. But you just came across it as a flat piece of if you just a pain in the butt, really, an insolent little pain in the butt. We're having a little bit. If anyone here is embarrassed it is you, you don't even have an argument point, and you're still ignorant. And the right to bear arms and self-preservation, and sometimes that requires more than pepper spray or a rape whistle. Shooter in Texas was stopped by a gun, not pepper spray. This guy down here, who was up above, up here, you know. I'm not even gonna go up that high. I'm just gonna read his comment. You never answered my question. Do you think the shooter, I'm not gonna say his name because I'm not gonna popularize this guy. I'm just gonna say that the shooter, because that's what he was, could have murdered 17 people that day in 60 minutes, 20 seconds with a tack knife or Remington 700. Hey, I didn't say 1700 this time. Woohoo! As far as using the Remington 700, you're missing the point. The military uses binoculars. So what? Binoculars can't take out dozens of innocent people in a couple of minutes the way an AR-15 can. Neither can the bolt-action Remington 1700. I said 1700 again. Yay! Okay. You have enough pairs of binoculars. Blunt force trauma. Beat a guy over head enough times, he's gonna die. Or at least go unconscious. You got enough pairs of binocs? Oh yeah, you can kill somebody. Kill a whole bunch of people. In the same time frame? No, because blunt force trauma, to kill someone, you gotta swing really hard, and binocs are not blunt force trauma weapons. So, or could be used effectively as a blunt force trauma weapon. So it'd take you a lot longer than 6 minutes probably to kill dozens of people with binocs. But the Remington 700, you could kill that many people, or even twice that many people in 6 minutes and 20 seconds, or even more than that in 6 minutes and 20 seconds, provided that you have a good group enough of people and are proficient enough with that gun and have enough ammo. Most time will be consumed reloading the Remington 700, as it only has a 5-shot capacity, last I checked. But yeah, I mean, you get one sniper on a roof looking down into a um, good enough group of people, and he's proficient, he's going to take them out. He could get 10 guys really quick. It'd take him a minute. He probably had 15 dudes or so. I'm not speaking that from experience. I'm just speaking that, okay, I just speak, it's partially from experience. I've never actually shot anyone aside from with my airsoft guns. But that's it. But it's just proficiency with the weapon and the person behind the weapon, which ties into the efficiency part. Okay, you speculate. I never once have said that I believe guns should be confiscated. You contradict yourself again. You contradict. You said you specifically said that no one should ever have a semi-automatic gun. So what are you going to do to the people? What are you going to do to all the semi-automatics that have been legally bought by law-abiding citizens? What are you going to do to those, huh? Well, nobody should have one, so what are you going to do? You're going to ban them? Because that's the only way you can make sure no one has one. And I have actually said I don't think guns should be taken away. I don't recall you ever saying that, but okay. I haven't run out of arguments. I just want to point out the irony of your statement. You run out of arguments. You have run out of arguments. At this point, you're just trying to interpret my statements and turn them into something they're not. No, he's interpreting your statements into plain English. So obviously you're the one who's come up short at points. No, you just keep regurgitating your stuff, so he has to keep regurgitating his stuff because you are not. You just. You know. You just keep saying the same thing over and over. He's going to keep saying the same thing over and over. Because he's providing the answers, the facts to your questions and countering what you're saying, and you're not listening. Seriously. Okay. Can you honestly debate gun control? That's what he's been doing. He's been debating the fact that how erroneous your ideas are. Gun control is literally controlling who gets ownership of the guns. So we're going to have who do that? Who are we going to have to control who gets guns? The government? Yeah, because they've never messed anything up before, have they? They've never screwed anything up. They've screwed up more crap than we care to number. But we don't mention it because we don't want to offend anybody. Um, controlling who gets ownership of guns. Yeah, that's... Isn't part... Isn't that a... Isn't that almost like a violation of which amendment is that? The Amendment 4, actually. Amendment 4, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. So, your idea of this gun confiscation actually ties in with the Fourth Amendment. Um, shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and a particular describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Okay, so it does and it doesn't tie into that, because there is a clause there. Mm-hmm. Excessive bail, controversy exceed $20. Criminal prosecutions. Okay. Okay. So yeah, that is an encroachment. Honestly, controlling who gets ownership of gun. That's an encroachment on um, something. It's almost like encroachment on your privacy, really. Because okay, this is what I own. Okay, why do you need to know? Unless you've seen it, you don't need to know or should know. You shouldn't know. Let's see. It doesn't take away guns from previous gun owners. Yes, but what are you going to do about the people who already bought semi-automatic firearms? You said nobody should have one. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're just going to stop selling them you're just going to shut down the production of them? Is that what you're going to do? You're still going to have a freaking huge riot on your hands. Freaking huge. That is going to be a humongous riot among the people. Or at least the people who still care about some kind of traditional American values like the Constitution. Oh, there it is. Oh, man. Almost out of water in my water bowl. Ah, that's better. Ooh, ah, ugh, ow. That's smart. Okay. So how can you debate something like that? You're grasping at straws at this point. Grasping at straws? Grasping at straws. He's not grasping at straws. He's debating you. You don't like it, so you keep regurgitating whatever you've been saying. And then he continues, yeah, but the shooter in Texas already killed a bunch of people. Yes, but he was stopped from killing even more people, making it even a bigger tragedy. He was stopped from making it a bigger tragedy than it already was. That's a good thing. The fact that he already got some people, that's a bad thing. The fact that he was stopped from making it such a catastrophe that the entire world flies everything in half-staff, that's a good thing. You would have you rather that they didn't get access to a gun in the first place? Again, with the black market, all that matters is do you have the money. There's no background checks in black market. At legal places like gun shows and stuff, background checks are in place. Background checks are in place at gun shows. Really. Stop trying to debate something that's such a necessity to America's integrity and maintenance. Stop trying to debate what? That the Second Amendment was put in place how many? 227 years ago? And has worked pretty dang well since? Or are you saying that gun control is a necessity to America's integrity? Integrity. What does integrity mean? Let's find out. That's impulsive. That's inclusive. Int. I-N-T. Induce. Inner. Institute. Almost there. Interest. In. Crap. Integrity, that's right. My short-term memory, I swear. In integrate integrity, rigid adherence to a code of values and probity, soundness, completeness, and unity. Okay, so necessity to America's integrity, meaning okay, rigid adherence to a code of values, meaning the law. Yeah, what they just said contradicts what they just said entirely. Gun control is such a necessity to America's integrity and maintenance. America's maintenance, meaning the upkeep of America and its statutes. Integrity, which is adherence or cooperation and in accordance with the laws, and Constitution, which is the supreme law of the land. Really? Gun control goes against the Second Amendment, which is part of the supreme law of the land. So, no, it's not a necessity. As a matter of fact, it's against it. It's kind of ridiculous because it seems like you don't even know exactly what you're debating. He knows exactly what he's debating. You're the one who doesn't know what you're debating. Gun control is perfectly reasonable. Gun control in what aspect? Gun control in the sense that you hit your target right? Gun control that you, um, whenever you have a gun, you practice gun safety at all times? Gun control that, yes, we have background checks. Bad people with criminal records shouldn't buy guns. That's the purpose of a background check. He's just too prideful to admit it. No, he's not too prideful to admit anything. All he's been doing is countering your arguments with facts and straight up solid facts. Um, Oh, and also, search up how many school shootings there have been this year. It averages out to about one per week. What? School shootings. School shootings. One of the very first school shootings that I think has anything whatever is Columbine, way back in the 80s or 90s. How many has happened since Columbine up to what was it? What was that one? Sandy Hook, way back in the day. It was like back in, what was it, 2011, 2012? Sandy Hook, really? That's when they started becoming a thing among bad people, among criminals. We can get our names in the papers if we shoot up a school, because that'll gain our infamy. That's what they want. That's all they want. Not only that, averages. You want to know how averaging works? You want to know how averaging works? You take the numbers of different factors. Say you were picking apples per day. You're picking apples a day. And okay, okay, give me a minute. Okay, so you're picking apples a day. Picking apples a day. You got, okay, say you pick 36 the first day. Then you pick 47 the second day. Then you pick 18 on the third day. You take those three numbers. Three numbers. You have these three numbers. Add them together. You take the sum, or the answer, to that question. Take that answer, divide it by 3 because there were 3 different days, 3 different numbers. That number, divide by 3, and that's your average for that 3 days. So, you took the amount of school shootings for the whole year, divided by 52 because there's about 52 weeks in a year, and you came up with one a week. Then why is it that we only hear about them every 6 months? Not only that, I was watching, give me a minute, I forget who it was I was watching on YouTube who actually kind of covered some of the facts behind the YouTube shooting that happened. Somebody went in and shot at YouTube stuff. Let me see here, real quick. Okay, Parkland, no, that's not it. A bunch of Robin Williams things I was just watching. Okay. dudes, men plows through stuff with stuff, not just school, latest conspiracy theory. Um, I'm already on that one. Always use incognito mode. Odd angry shot. Yeah, that's a cool one. Where is it? Ah, right here. Mark Dice, yeah. Mark Dice covering the truth about the YouTube HQ shooter. It was an Iranian immigrant, not political, but animal rights activist who claimed that her channel was being censored for some of the content she was displaying, and she wasn't getting subscribers like she used to. Which also depends on how long you've been on YouTube. Honestly, sometimes your channel will die out over time. Yeah, but she said she had like 10,000 subscribers or something, and then all of a sudden they weren't showing that they were subscribed anymore. It's like they drastically dropped it on, and then she got ticked, and her dad said, "Now," and you're already going, "Well, Mark Dice is a conservative American guy. We shouldn't. If you cut him up and he bleeds red, white, and blue, you can't trust him." It's like, really? You're scared because he holds traditional American values? Is that what it is? I trust this man. He makes sense when he talks about what he talks about. And he's talking about this lady, it was just an angry lady because her business, which happened to be YouTube, making YouTube videos as either a hobby or business, sometimes it's both on YouTube, but she got mad, she got ticked, she went out and she basically enacted revenge on the people who she felt were screwing her over. Versus the school shooting people. The shooter dude at Parkland. What did he want? He just had a lot of pin-up rage and emotion. He had nowhere to direct it, so he directed it somewhere. And it is my understanding that both of these shooters committed suicide, I think. Is to my understanding. I think he said that she committed suicide, the YouTube shooter, she committed suicide. And so many people were already going on, like, Twitter and stuff, and they were saying, "Oh, well, it's probably some Trump supporter, white, cisgender male, heterosexual, normative." No, it was an Iranian immigrant who was basically a tree hugger. How's that for one for your history books? Probably will disappear very, very rapidly. What's funny is this the day that it happened, I was sitting at home. I was scrolling through YouTube on my phone, and I saw one video actually covering the fact that YouTube was being shot up. That was it. Now I haven't been on the front page lately to see if there's anything else has popped out, but other than the Mark Dice one and the one from ABC, nothing. That was the one thing. Breaking news! There was a shooting at. Apparently dogs don't like my news announcer voice. Breaking news at YouTube. There was a shooting. One video on breaking news. You think someone going into a big multi-million dollar headquarters like that in California, doesn't matter where it is, it could have been a multi-million dollar corporation in Podunk Hilltown, USA, but the fact that they only had one video versus like when other things pop up, like the school shooting for Parkland. I mean, there was probably like dozens of videos covering that. Well, Parkland, 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 Parkland. Scrolling for like a minute or so, you'd come across every video. Parkland was shot. Parkland shooting. Coverage. This is the coverage that we have. Parkland shooting, and then YouTube gets shot. One video. What? What? That doesn't seem. What? Are you saying that YouTube censors their own shootings? Is that what that was? I don't know. That just seems kind of odd that there would only be one channel on YouTube that covered that story. At essentially, I guess, the time that it was happening. it was either really, really fresh, or and I was real there really, really early, or they just did not. Nobody else was covering it. I don't know. Okay, let's see. That's crazy. Yeah, it is crazy because I don't believe it. Let's see. You think you would hear about if it's one per week, you would have heard about all the other ones. Instead, we hear like this one, and then and then the latest one, Parkland, and then turn around, blink your eyes, YouTube. Okay, but they're few and far between. You don't hear about all these. They're at least like a couple like months apart, a piece. What the heck? And most of those shouldn't get prevented if gun control existed. Okay, and then what? I've mentioned that before. Well, if they just went in there with a bomb, what are you gonna do? Create bomb control? Bombs are kind of illegal to make already. It's illegal to make your own bombs like that. So what are you gonna do then? You get rid of guns, they're gonna find something else. It doesn't matter. In order to get a gun, there should be mental evaluations, permits, proper training, etc. And there has to be a restriction on who can attain a gun. It really shouldn't be as easy as walking into the store and buying one. Oh yeah, like walking into the store and buying a package of hot dogs is the same thing as walking into a store and buying a gun. No. All you need to buy a pack of hot dogs is going into a store with money enough to buy the pack of hot dogs. It doesn't matter if you're 92, 37, 45 and a half, or 6. If you've got the money to buy a package of hot dogs, that's fine. In order to lawfully, legally purchase a firearm of any kind, you have to be of the proper age, as I mentioned incessantly amounts of times already. 18 for long guns in America, or at least in Arkansas. 21 for short guns, meaning pistols. Now, you need to pass a background check before you purchase this firearm. If you're underage, sorry, we can't sell you this. You're not old enough. Don't pass a background check? Sorry, we can't sell you this. You have a felony on your record. You have problems with your stuff. I mean, that's just how it is. And mental evaluations, that's kind of yes and no. That's kind of yes and no, because if you had mental evaluations for absolutely everybody, everywhere, every time, that's a lot. That's a lot. And not only that, who's going to take these evaluations? The government? Yeah, we really trust the government with all of our medical records and everything. Yeah, nothing's gone wrong yet, has there? Let's see. And permits. Permits for what? What do you mean a permit? What are you talking about, a permit? You need a permit to own a gun? Really? You want to turn us into England? Is that what you're trying to say? Proper training. People who buy guns don't go out and buy guns without knowing about generally how to use a gun. People who go out and buy guns legally know how to use a gun and are generally taught how to safely handle a gun. They were generally raised around guns. That's my experience anyway. That may not be the correct experience. I mean, not a correct experience. That may not be true for everyone buying a gun. But for the majority of the people who go out and buy guns, they grew up in a conservative household with guns, and their dads and their moms or whoever had those guns, taught them how to use those guns, took them to the range and said, hey, here they start them out small with a 22. Why? Small caliber doesn't kick very much. You don't start out a kid on a freaking 1903 Springfield with that kicks like a mule, because then they're really gonna hate it. Because last time, because well, my first experience shooting a gun, I blew my shoulder out trying to shoot a 30-06. You don't start off with a 30-06. You start out 22. You start out small. You start out, with the basics, the rules of the range, the rules of gun safety. That's proper training. There's your proper training. The problem is that so many people, they go out and buy guns and they know how to use them, but they use them for the wrong reasons. Guns can be used for hunting. Yes. Guns can be used for self-defense. Yes. Guns can be used for murder. The murderers are the people who know how to use a gun but use them in the wrong way. Okay, there. Yeah, and I've already covered that part, so let's keep going. And you used your wrong your again. Really? You're going back to the being the grammar police again? I've been doing that all this time, I know, but you're being a butt again. Aren't you only 16 years old? I'm only 13, more qualified than you to have a discussion. No, you're just more qualified to be a grammar teacher or an English teacher. That's all. That is it. That's all you have, man. Let's see. Okay, now we go here again. See. Okay, so you don't think AR-15 should be banned. I'm gonna quote you. Why in the world would you need an AR-15? A weapon of war we send soldiers with. You've said all these things so that is enough evidence for me to think that you would like to ban them. That's not me trying to interpret them. You tell me I'm grasping for straws, but I've given you facts and you've given me nothing. Now, this isn't me. This is not me. Obviously, because I'm the channel that uploaded this. Duh! I don't know why I had to say that. I guess I'm just tired. You're not winning the argument the way you think you are. Your generation is not as powerful as you think. In my area, you people are looked down upon and laughed at. You are the same as every other liberal. You think that you have all the answers but can't back up any of your statements. So I am not grasping for straws. I'll spell how I I'll spell how I like you correcting me further proves I'll spell how I like. You correcting me yeah, comma. Correcting me further proves my point of your lack of an argument, knowledge, and facts. And we continue. Um this guy. I think it's funny how you claim that you've utilized all these amazing facts, but all you've done is tell me what guns soldiers take to war. Yes, because you have the misconceptions that the guns that people buy in stores legally are the same ones we send people to war with. You're the one who has misconceptions. That's a 2-second Google search, and it doesn't say the fact that gun control is so French word fair. That is fair. It sounds like lasses. Some French words that then there have been school shootings. Ow, ow, just move my gauze out of place. That there have been school shootings almost every week, occasionally more often. You're 16, so you probably go to school. Maybe not, considering how. Maybe not considering how blatantly uneducated you appear. Wouldn't you prefer security in a school? Yes! That's the idea! Security guards, armed teachers, fight back against shooters when shooters happen. Oh gosh, give me a minute. I gotta fix my gauze. Okay, the gauze has been taken out. Now I have 4 gaping holes in my jaw. I know, very gory. But, okay, you're 16, so you probably got to school. He mentioned he goes to high school. Maybe not though, considering how blatantly uneducated you are. Yes, thing is, he's got more common sense in his pinky than you've shown in this entire section. Seriously. Um, not only that, that's kind of an insult. You just called him stupid, so that's not nice. Wouldn't you prefer security in school? That's why he's suggesting armed teachers and armed security guards. Knowing that criminals and psychos have less easy access to assault rifles? What exactly qualifies as an assault rifle? Back to ye old Webster's. Let's look up the word assault, shall we? Astringent, attach. I went too far. Assign, assassinate, assemblage, assert, assail, assault. A violent physical or verbal attack. An unlawful attempt to. Okay, that was one. Definition one is a violent physical or verbal attack. Definition 2, an unlawful attempt or threat to injure another physically. And 3 is rape. But in this case being, I'm more than willing to bet it's number 2, an unlawful attempt or threat to injure another physically. So, basically, an assault is an attack. An attack, to attack. To assault is to attack someone. What is a rifle? A rifle is a firearm with a rifled barrel to make sure that your bullet is more accurate and travels farther. I'll look that word up anyway, just because I am one of those kinds of people. Wait a minute. Romanian, Riyadh. Oh, my bad. Rod, Ryle, Risque. What does that mean? Ugh. Ripen, Ripcord, Ringlet. I'm in the wrong section. What the heck? Rifle. A firearm with a rifled bore designed to be fired from the shoulder. So, just a rifle that you attack someone with. In that case, a Kentucky rifle could be an assault rifle. And a Kentucky rifle is a muzzleloader. It looks somewhat like a musket. The only difference is it has a rifled barrel. Really? You're going to say that, oh, well, we get rid of assault rifles. Any rifle can be an assault rifle by the definition of assault. Why do you keep trying to fight that? He's not fighting you. He's trying to tell you this is how it is. You keep saying, well, I'm going to ignore you because the media said this or something like that. You keep trying to push gun control. What the heck? Oh well. Okay, so um, okay, here I am. My bad. Um, why do you keep trying to fight that? He's not fighting it. He wants to fight people that are shooting up schools by providing some form of security to fight back against these things. Seriously, man. Just search up gun control polls and take a look at some of the research results. Okay, how were these polls conducted? Where they say, yeah, would you like to see no school shootings? Is that it depends on the question. How was the questions provided in the polls asked? That's what you need to be looking. This is the question, because if you doctor it and you get this much approval, it's like, yes, school shootings are terrible. We want them ended. Everyone is going to agree with you, unless you're some kind of a weird psycho, in which case they are going to probably notify the authorities and have them arrested. Um, Lots of studies have been done. The majority always chooses stricter gun control in every scenario I've seen so far. So yes, gun control is inevitable, and you should stop trying to fight. I'm gonna fight it till the day I die because it's stupid and ineffective. It makes no sense. It's not gonna help anything. It's just gonna make it worse. You're fighting against student safety? No, he's saying you're fighting. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Fighting against student safety? He wants student safety. He would feel safe if he had an armed security guard who would protect him. He would feel safe if the teachers were trained and armed in the art of, or not really in art, but in the form of concealed carry classes. He would feel safe knowing someone would protect him. If there is no one that's going to protect him, guess what? In the case being, okay, get rid of guns, you're just going to have another school shooting. You're going to have Parkland all over again, maybe even worse. That's all you're going to have, because no guns? Oh, well, it's still a gun-free zone. We just impose gun control, and then black market shows up with guns, and then the bad guys find out about it, go to the black market, purchase guns, and go shoot up more schools. Then what the heck are you going to do? Then you're going to be praying for the Second Amendment. If you say, well, I'm going to, I stick with gun control to the day I die, well, that may be sooner than you think if you're at one of those schools getting shot up. Because there's no one protecting you. What are you going to do? Beat him over the head with a desk? Have you tried to lift a school desk? Not going to happen. What are you going to do? Stab him with a pencil? You got to get close enough first and hope he doesn't hear you coming. Have you tried walking absolutely silently in a school hallway without squeaking your sneakers on the floor? Daggum impossible. And he's not fighting against student safety, he's fighting for student safety. That's why he wants these security guards and stuff. I'm regurgitating my own opinions. Oh my gosh. Need to move on. Like, what? By saying, who needs an assault rifle doesn't imply that I am for gun confiscation. Yeah, you kind of are. Yes, you pretty much are. Because you're saying, well, who needs one? Well, that implies that, well, then we just need to get rid of them because nobody needs them. That's right. We don't necessarily need them, but we like them and we want them. So therefore, we are going to buy them whether you like it or not, and we're going to do it in the legal fashion by going through the background checks. Let's see. Doesn't imply that for guns. Okay. That's an ignorant assumption to make. Everything you said points to banning of semi-automatic firearms and the so-called assault rifles. Translation, you just want to ban anything that looks like an AR-15. Anything that looks, because not everything that looks like an AR-15. It's like in the car community. In the car community, there is a specific type of car called an 8.6. Now, is that the specific actually model of that car? No, that's not the model number of that car. It refers to the A86 Toyota Corolla Trueno, kind of like a GTS or something. That's what it refers to. But the body style, they call it an 8.6 because that's what it looks like. This is the same thing with the AR-15, but specifically, they are not all AR-15s. They have different model. They are called different models. They're made by different companies. They're not all AR-15s, but that's the generic term. I know, I just wasted everybody's time by explaining how it's not an AR-15 and it's still an AR-15 at the same time. And I look back at the statement and actually what normal person needs to own an assault rifle. How about people that recognize... How about people that think that they look cool and would like to have one? Nobody's ever done that. They've never bought something just because it looked cool, have they? Nobody's ever done that. Or the fact that, hey, this sounds like it'd be fun. Not only that, my dad's a veteran. My dad is a veteran. He actually would like to have an AR-15 of some form in a certain fashion. That way, because he's familiar with it. Back in the day, they used the M16. It's similar. He is familiar with the M16. He would be familiar with the AR-15 because it is similar. And therefore he would be effective against a home invader with it, which is totally different. What normal person needs to own it? So, what special people need to own an assault rifle? What's your argument here? You're not saying anything. Living in a metropolitan area, I don't carry huge weapons around with me. How many people do? Aside from, like, military people and SWAT teams. The guy sitting right next to you on the bus, if you ride a bus to work or wherever, you take a flight on a, okay, not a flight on a plane because they screen your baggage and confiscate that stuff. But walking down the street, there could be a guy walking right next to you. He's got concealed carry. That's not a large gun. Not only that, AR-15s aren't necessarily huge guns. You want a huge gun? Oh, what was that? Was it? Try howitzers. Howitzers, 105 millimeters, 88 millimeters, heck, 2 inches. Anti-aircraft guns. Ever heard of this stuff? M2 Browning 50 caliber machine gun, huge gun. Mark 19 automatic grenade launcher, huge gun. Rifle is not a huge gun unless you're a hobbit. And hobbits are only 3 foot tall, so that should give you a little bit of perspective. Living in a metropolitan area, I don't care. Okay, I have no use for them. You wouldn't want to buy one anyway, because you're obviously so vehemently opposed to guns, period. I can already hear people in the comments. Well, no, that's not true. He's just for gun control. Gun control eventually leads to gun confiscation and gun abolishment. Hitler had gun control. He did. He did. Actually, give me a minute. I'll be back. I think I have a source for this. Give me. Yep, right here. It's on the old Time Life books, Battle of Britain. Let me check the, where's the copyright on this sucker? Copyright. Where's your copyright? Where's your 1977 copyright? Battle of Britain. Right here. Hitler's nibble at the channel. There are islands in the English Channel. The Germans actually occupied them. And right here, Evening Press, orders of the commandant of the German forces in of the occupation of the Isle of Guernsey. Let's see. One only happens. 2, 3. Spirits shall be locked up immediately. No spirits shall be supplied. Basically, no. Basically, they just put a ban on all alcohol. Article 6 of this announcement. All rifles, air guns, which basically BBs and pellet rifles, pistols, revolvers, daggers, sporting guns, yeah, so knives even, sporting guns, which be like, I guess, shotguns, trap guns, all other weapons whatsoever except souvenirs must, together with all ammunition, be delivered at the Royal Hotel by 12 noon today, July 1st. Gun confiscation by the Nazis, which is controlling the guns, controlling who has guns. Who's got the guns? All your enemies do. All the Germans did. They now have your guns. Keep telling me gun control isn't about, well, Hitler recognized that if the people have guns, the people can fight back. He did not want people to fight back against him. He wanted to rule them with whatever fist he had, whether it be iron, lead, copper, zinc, magnesium, or cross your eyes and dot your T's. It's not a fist, but still. Where was I? Okay. Gun control pole, student safety. let's see, gun confiscation, and normal people, metropolitan area. Maybe people whose occupation involves hunting, but my statement did not imply that I believe guns should be taken away from people. Yes, but you want you want it to be so hard for people to obtain weapons in general that they should be like background checks for pocket knives. Really? That's stupid. But it's just guns. One thing leads to another. Okay, say you ban AR-15s. What's next? Guy walks into a shotgun. Guy walks in with a sawed-off shotgun. You're gonna start banning shotguns. Then what's next? People start using bolt-action rifles and pistols. You're gonna start banning bolt-action rifles and pistols. Where does it end? It's an infinite recessive. And even if, okay, bolt-action, even if you ban the AR-15, all of a sudden school shooting stops. Then it's going to go what I mentioned before. They're going to use knives. They're going to use bombs. They're going to slash up the place. They're going to blow up the place. And that's going to be even worse of a picture. It will be worse of a picture. Because say the bomber isn't a suicide bomber. Say he just goes throughout, leaves various packages in inconspicuous places, blows this crap out of the place. Now you've got like a whole bunch of 100 dead, maybe, and a couple hundred dead and wounded, or more, and your building's gone. Everything's gone. You just lost everything. Really. But I've actually stated that I should think there be more gun distribution monitoring. Again, gun distribution? What do you mean by gun distribution? You mean the legal purchasing and sale of firearms? You're going to have CIA watching over, NSA watching over everybody's back just while you're sitting there, you're handing out the money after passing the background check, and they're just going to be sitting there like, you're $1 short. You know, what do you want, man? I want this. How is that going to happen? Because I guarantee you, it's most likely not going to turn out good. But previous gun owners should be allowed to keep your guns. So, you're just trying to paint a pretty picture on a donkey poop. That's all you're trying to do. It's like, well, the current guns, you should monitor and control those. But the previous gun owners should be allowed to keep their guns. What if they have AR-15s? What if it's a semi-automatic AR-15? Then what are you gonna do? Then what are you gonna do? They have an AR-15. I changed my mind. No, that's hypocrisy. You just contradicted yourself. Therefore, you're no longer trustworthy. You weren't trustworthy to begin with. Here we go again. Yeah, 2 seconds of research you obviously couldn't do. You tried to tell me that only a militia gets gun rights. And you also implied pistol is okay to have, but not an AR-15. So they are still facts that take 2 seconds of research that you didn't do. That makes me uneducated. I suppose I shouldn't expect more from someone like you. And you said, what normal person needs an assault weapon? My dad owns an assault weapon, or AR-15, and my dad is still a normal person. So what laws do you want passed exactly? I'm for school security, just not more gun control. I'm still not grasping for straws because, again, I have facts and you have ignorance, and it is only a 2-second search, but it's a 2-second search you are clearly too incompetent to do. Oh, this guy came back swinging. Whoa. I'm just gonna be... I don't know where to go with that. That's whatever. But this guy I'm gonna downgrade because, obviously, really. Let's see. Like that one because, you know, that one makes sense. This one still makes no sense. This guy is being a turd. This guy, now it's starting to get a little more heated and whatever. Actually, wait a minute. This part here, I'm gonna like that. That's good. Oh, oh boy. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a doozy. We have a doozy. That's fine. Someone like you have no idea who I am and have only acquired information from me about my comments. You pretty much. So we have to know you personally to have a political debate about one specific topic, which is gun control. So we have to know you personally. We have to know, like your Facebook account and follow you on Twitter and Instagram and know what you're doing at 24/7 and be your absolute bestest friend. And then we can talk to you. You're having a debate on a single issue. Really? For all you know, I could be someone you know. I'm assuming you're using your real name. He's using his real name. In that assumption, you obviously don't know each other. Let's hope I, because, let's hope not, because if I personally did, I'd really hate you. I'm pretty sure we hate you too. So, mutual feelings. You sound pretty condescending for a gun-happy hick. The dogs barked because I laughed, not laughed, I clapped my hands. Dogs, we have very, very, very hyper hearing dogs. They're like, noise, where was he? Where was he? Bark, 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 bark. Then 2 minutes later, they're fine and napping. Till somebody bonks their leg on something and it sounds like somebody knocking the door and then they're right back at it. Um. Pretty kind of thing for a gun-happy hick. How do you know he's a hick? He could live in the city for all you know. Does that make him a hick? You obviously think that anyone who owns guns, apparently, or likes guns, lives out somewhere in the Rocky Mountains, and the best technology they have is a gas stove and electric lights and indoor plumbing. Despite that fact, he's on YouTube and using it, implying he has access to the internet, either by phone or by computer. Also, in the Constitution, it clearly states that a well-regulated militia has the right to bear arms. The well-regulated militia is made up of the people. The people. Shall I regurgitate what I've said again? It says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms. It doesn't say the right of the militia. It says the right of the people to keep and bear arms. What part of that do you not understand? The right of the people, not the right of the militia, the right of the people to keep and bear arms. Goodness. Seriously. Read the Constitution and take in the context of when and why it was written. It's over 200 years ago. There are more schools now, and more people, more dangerous weapons. There is no tyranny in the government. Things have changed. You are another one of those people who think the Founding Fathers only thought in their one time frame. You're an idiot. These are some of the smartest people. Oh, well, technology can't possibly advance, despite the fact that we've seen it advance. Evidence of it advancing. There's museums around the world that are proving that things are advancing. For crying out loud. Ben, didn't you just discover electricity through lightning? Yes, I did. And didn't you discover this and this and this and this and this? The technology's always been advancing, and these guys knew that. They knew it was going to advance. That's why they wrote this like they did. You're acting like, well, it's an antiquated document. Yes, that has stood the test of time and provided. The Constitution has done its job for the 200 years that it has been in effect. The amendments have done this since, okay, wait, 1789 to 1791, okay. Since 1789. That's well over, that's got to be at least 230. No, 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 wait. 27, okay, let me do some quick math here. So, 1791, the amendments were ratified and stuff. That's 227 years ago. 1789, 9 to 1. It's 2 years. So, 229 years. Constitution has held its own. The government is the ones who have messed up. Not the Constitution. The government has messed up. The people who have elected the government have messed up. That's where things went wrong. There is no tyranny in the government right now. Let's go back to ye old Webster's again. Let's see. Tyranny. T-Y. Tyke. Typography, tyrannical, tyrannize, tyranny, a government in which a single ruler is vested with absolute power. That is not our government, you absolute... Okay, so yeah, there's no tyranny in government. There was no tyranny in the government back then either. We were fighting a tyrannical government, so we set up our own government, which wasn't tyrannical. That's kind of the reason why we have the checks and balances placed between the branches of the government. The legislative branch, the executive branch, and the judicial branch. That's why we have these things. But you obviously don't know that. There's more dangerous weapons? Yes. We found a lot more dangerous weapons. The atomic bomb is one of the most dangerous weapons. The nuclear bomb is the most dangerous weapon known to mankind at the moment. There are more schools, yes, because education was. They made it common. They said they found out that they basically said, hey, we need to teach all kids. We need to teach all kids because this is necessary to continue in this type of culture. If we have a bunch of Neanderthalic kids who don't know anything, they're going to get taken advantage of a lot more than kids who have educations, who know what they're talking about. You're 13 and you don't know what you're talking about. You keep talking about, well, I'm 13 and I know what I'm talking about. No, you don't. No, you don't. You're just regurgitating whatever you heard on CNN. Think you're so high and mighty, you don't know nothing on this situation. Also, using your dad as an example of a normal person is pretty cliche. Okay, define normal. Everybody is weird in one way or another. Some of them are good ways, some of them are bad ways. Some of them are so random you don't care. But his example is good. His example is good. It's like, yeah, my dad owns the AR-15. You keep claiming that AR-15s are, oh, they just kill everybody. Anyone who owns an AR-15 is going to kill everybody. So he says, my dad has one, and he's a normal person. He hasn't shot anybody with it yet. He hasn't gone out and committed some kind of a mass atrocity yet. I'm like, yes, that's a good point. That's an excellent point. What the heck? It ticks me off. And then he says, it's pretty cliche. Why? Because that's who he knows? How many other people can he... His classmates aren't old enough to buy guns. He can't say that, well, I got some friends, they're normal, and they own guns. They don't own guns. If he's 16, generally, all his other classmates are going on also to be 16. Again, back to the age requirement. For just long guns, 18. Short guns, 22. Not 22, 21. That's like me saying, Mom is a nice lady and can do no wrong. No. No. Mom's done some bad things in the past, but she's learned from her mistakes, and she's raised you. So that's pretty nice. She can do wrong. Yes, everybody makes mistakes every now and then. Your dad obviously made mistakes with you if you think gun control isn't a good thing. Oh my gosh. His dad taught him that guns are a tool. Guns are an object. Fully they're not sentient beings that get up, grab somebody, have that somebody hold them while the gun drags them along on a murderous rampage. The person picks up the gun and goes on a murderous rampage. Oh my gosh. Gun control is not a good thing. Take away guns, the bad people find other ways of doing it, whether it's acid, running people over in hit-and-run incidents, blowing up places, knifing people. Where does it end? Eventually you outlaw everything, and then we're just stuck to killing people with our own fists. You're gonna outlaw fists? How are you gonna take them off? You outlawed knives. It's just this ultimate, just a regressive, get rid of everything, get rid of everything, get rid of... Where does it end? Maybe if you tried helping the bad people or put the bad people in prison and kept them there. You know what I think? If I'm not mistaken, the original penalty for killing somebody for murder was the death penalty. I think that's what it was. You killed somebody, we're gonna kill you. Oh, you killed somebody, you shot somebody, and they died, we're gonna hang you in public, in front of the whole town. Well, that's fear tactics. Pretty dang efficient. People didn't all automatically go out and start killing other people. Really? And see, gun control won't take away your guns. Protect the right to bear arms for law-abiding citizens. No, it doesn't! It makes it harder for people who want to defend themselves to go out and get something to defend themselves with. What are they going to do if they don't have a gun? Somebody breaks into their house. They're still waiting from 15 different organizations to come back. Oh yeah, he's clear. He can buy the gun. And then what's he got? He's got a baseball bat. If you're a home intruder, most likely there's more than one to case the joint. They either work in teams of single cat burglars, single breaking and entering people. Um, I mean, just they generally come armed. Whether it's a crowbar, whether it's a gun, whether it's a stick, whether it's a bat, they always come with something. They don't just come in there with their bare fists and start casing the place. They always come in with something, because just in case you're home, they're going to defend themselves or stop you from defending yourself. Seriously. Seriously, you gotta be kidding me. It's like, yikes, why are you being so stubborn? I know you were probably raised with different morals, but please, you're being pretty ridiculous. I'm sorry I don't read about different types of guns, and that's where your experience in this section makes you not a very worthy source of information on the subject of guns in general. You think gun control works? Try working with some guns first. Maybe play a few first-person shooter games. Maybe you'll get an idea. Because then I can use this analogy. Have you ever played video games before? Yeah. Played Call of Duty? Oh, yeah, man. I got like kill-death ratio like 15. It's epic, man. Okay. We're going to take away your team's guns. We're going to make it harder for you. First, you have to get knife kill before you get the weakest pistol in the game. And then they're going to say, well, it's like gun. Okay, yeah, but they all get the regular guns. Whatever gun they want. They want to pick up a minigun and shoot you? They can. They're allowed that. You're not. Why? Because gun control. See, you're the law-abiding citizen. We're going to make it harder for you. They, on the other hand, they have the black market. They can go and get whatever the heck they want at whatever price that they're selling it at. So what? Now what you gonna do? Let's see. And it makes sure psychos and criminals and the mentally ill don't attain weapons, at least not legally. At least not legally. Psychos and criminals. Criminals, for one, can't pass the background check. Mentally ill, can't say for them. Psychos generally are already on death row or in a prison somewhere. There are psychos that are out there. That's because they haven't either been killed, died off, or been put in prison. Really. Good grief. Okay. See, why are you being so stubborn? This is pretty ridiculous. I'm sorry to read about different kinds of guns, but I don't think that's relevant to the discussion of gun control. I don't think guns are relevant to gun control at all. Really? That is a stupid... That is... Do you have any... That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Yes, guns don't matter in something that involves guns. Yes. Just like gasoline doesn't involve driving somewhere in a car. Or a car doesn't involve car safety. Really? Really? You're really going to have that kind of an argument? It makes no sense. I actually I actually enjoy things other with my time than target practice. So do we. We enjoy hunting. Yes, we enjoy target practice. We also enjoy, but we can't always be at target practice. We have also other things we would like to do. We like watching sports. Some of us, not me personally, unless it was like drag racing because I'm a car nerd. But, you know, I like watching YouTube. There are some funny things on YouTube. I like playing video games. And yes, I like to play shooter video games, FPS first-person shooter video games. But I also like racing games. I really like racing games. My top three things: sandbox, which is essentially you go into a world and you start building whatever the heck. First-person shooters, which are self-explanatory. It's your team versus the other team, or free-for-all, or whatever. And then there's racing games. I love racing. Like cars. I like playing racing games. Um, I lead a very simple life. Gaming, sleep, eat, YouTube. Okay. Um, so, let's see. I'm sure you're a nice guy and probably pretty talented at some stuff, but I can't blame you for the thoughts your parents have plastered into your head. Well, what? Well, who plastered the thoughts that you got into your head, huh? There's a double standard here. Who plastered what you got into your head? CNN? MSNBC? Who the heck done it? Or was it your parents that plastered your thoughts into your head? Really? Just try to look at the situation from an unbiased and professional. That's impossible for everyone on the planet. That's impossible. Try to look at it unbiased and professional standpoint, meaning look at it from my point of view because I'm right and you're wrong. That's pretty much what he's saying. What do you mean unbiased and professional standpoint? He is looking at this from a... He's going to look at this from his professional standpoint. There's no such thing as an unbiased professional standpoint unless someone who has no idea what's going on is suddenly dragged into the conversation. Someone who had no idea what you're talking about is suddenly, hey, you, come over here, talk about the... Okay. That's unbiased. But once things start rolling and getting explained, he's going to take one side or the other, and then he's going to have a biased opinion. Why? Because that is the way it works. My dad owns guns too, and he's a good guy. He follows the law, and gun control won't take his guns away. Oh my gosh, I was about to say, did your father know that you support gun control? He's like, he's a gun owner and actually supports gun control. What? What? That is, that, I'm, I'm one of those guys who believes that if you're a gun owner and support gun control, where did you go wrong? How is that possible? Because that just does not sound right at all. I mean, at all. Let's see. Let's see. He thinks that my life is more important than being able to buy a gun. Good! That means he knows what his vocations are as a parent. Protect the kid. If it's a choice between buying groceries or buying a gun, he's gonna buy your dang groceries. You wanna know why he's gonna buy groceries? 'Cause food is more important than buying a gun. That's common sense. Also, gun control may make buying a gun a little bit harder, but if you pass mental evaluation, background checks, etc., it shouldn't be that hard. Also, I meant to say that there's less tyranny in the government, not none. What are you talking about? Less tyranny? There are checks and balances throughout the. I just said this. There are checks and balances throughout all three systems in the government between one another. There is no one. Now, granted, in recent years, some powers have been given to certain branches of the government that they shouldn't have in the first place. And here we go. I am going to apologize for this comment by comment commentary, but I want to be accurate in the information. It's like if this is what's going on, okay, I want to see how it ends. I want to see how it ends. No, the Second Amendment says the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So not only a well-maintained militia, so I'm gonna reply to this guy and say, dude, it's militia. Militia. Go read it. Go read it, comma. This stuff that takes more. Go read it. This more stuff that takes 2 minutes to look up. And again, you're saying no normal person needs an AR-15 does lead me to believe that you would not like for normal people, like my dad, should have one. Pretty much what Ramono was saying. And honestly, I don't care if your dad has a gun. It doesn't really help your argument. And again, I do think we should have background checks, but that's it. A mentally unstable person cannot buy a gun. We just have a very faulty system. A lot of criminals who can't buy guns still do because they pass background checks because of the faulty system. What exactly is the faulty system? Last I checked, I thought it was like a felony, check the criminal records kind of stuff. You check your criminal record. That's probably what it should be. That's how it should go, if you ask me. The problem comes in where you say no normal person needs to buy an AR-15 or needs an AR-15, and then you say you don't want gun confiscation. There are millions of AR-15s, in that body style of rifle, and you say no normal person needs one because there's one needs one is plenty of reason for me to believe that you would like to get rid of them because millions of people, normal people, have them. So that is not me interpreting things. It's just common sense. And could say the same thing about your parents putting it in your head that anyone who politically disagrees with you doesn't care about children's lives. Dang, man, that is good. That was good, man. You done socked him straight up. Sock him on the jaw. Don't sock me on the jaw. I got tender jaws right now. Yep, because you are making assumptions. Where did he make an assumption? He just took whatever you said and then said, this is how it is. And it evidently, very evidently, I'm not just saying evidently like, well, this is my opinion. I'm saying evidently like, this is how it is exactly played out. It's not an assumption. You keep bringing up that point over and over and over again when it can't be proved. Like I said, you need to keep the Constitution in the context of which it is written. Context of which it's written. Okay, pause again. Back, and I have my American government textbook from when I did the American government stuff. Okay, right here. Basically, they have the Constitution in the back of the book, and it covers the amendments and basically explains different points of the Constitution and the like. What does this mean? How is this interpreted? You know, different. Okay, Bill of Rights. Bill of Rights. Oh my gosh, I really need to quit banging on my desk. Second Amendment interpretations according to this textbook, a school book. Militia. A militia. Okay, so read this straight. Second Amendment, as I have done plenty of times before. A well-regulated militia, comma, being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, comma, shall not be infringed, period. Second Amendment, 1791. Second Amendment, little interpretations. Bullet point, a militia is an army of citizens rather than professional soldiers. The National Guard is a reserved section of the Army, and they are professional soldiers. They've had professional training. And other bullet point, the people are permitted to keep and bear arms. It doesn't get much more clear than that. It doesn't get much more clear than if you straight read the Second Amendment anyway, but you people keep contorting it. You keep saying that, well, you need to read it. Well, you need to read it. Plain Jane read it. Don't go to the Young Turks. Don't go to CNN. Read the own dang thing. Ugh. Sorry if I seem excited and overreactant to this person, but the amount of stuff he keeps going ring around the roses with. Probably should have stopped a long time ago, but like I said, I want to see this thing how it ends. Let's see. There is no permit required to purchase a firearm. Why would you need a permit to purchase a firearm? It sounds like it sounds like the government is trying to monitor everyone who has a firearm. That way they know who exactly to go to confiscate these firearms. No license required unless you plan to carry a concealed handgun, a concealed handgun in public. Okay, what's your problem? 99% of gun owners who bought their stuff legally don't go out and shoot people on purpose. They go out, they do target practice, they do hunting, they do sporting. With, you know, what is your point? Why would you need a license to that? And yes, you need the license for the concealed carry license. Yes, that's a good idea. Because we don't need everybody just walking around with guns in their pants or pockets or whatever, just at random. If you're not trained correctly, if you have intent of harming someone with this gun, and you don't have a a concealed carry license, I mean, that's why we have the concealed carry license. They actually put you through background checks and various other types of things, mental, I guess, kind of stuff. They put you through checks to make sure, yes, this person is qualified to have this license. That did not sound like strict gun control. Why? Because we put background checks on long guns and regular guns and that are sold legally, and we have concealed carry licenses to make sure that the people who have concealed carry licenses, we put the checks through concealed carry licenses to make sure that the people who are getting these licenses are qualified and okay to have these concealed carry licenses. Really? You can carry a gun openly in public without any permit or license. No, you can't. That's kind of illegal. That is extremely illegal. Well, It may not be illegal. It may not be illegal. I don't know. I know you can walk around with like a sword. You can carry around a sword on your back as long as it stays in the sheath and you're not acting like a moron swinging it around along the sidewalk. Carrying a gun, a loaded gun, in open carry. You get stopped, you get arrested last time I checked. Really? That did not sound like straight gun control. People who generally walk around with carrying a gun open in public without permit or license are probably part of a gang, and you should probably hit the dirt unless the state has laws in place saying, yes, you can open carry if you want. I think Arizona is like that. Oh, Texas is too? Oklahoma has something I think that's like technically like that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, me neither. Probably should. Probably should read those. Um, let's see. That needs to change. You can just walk into a store, buy a gun, and cause harm to another person. So I'm gonna walk into. So you're saying I can just walk into Walmart, buy a gun, and blow the guy at the counter away? Is that what you're saying? Little hint: guns in the gun racks at stores are unloaded. They don't have bullets in them, you twit. You'd have to buy the gun, then buy ammo, but first you have to pass the background check, as I've mentioned incessantly again. You have to pass the background check in order to actually legally buy the gun. And buying ammo, I think you need like some kind of, you have to go through a check for that too, I think, for buying ammo. I may be wrong, but I think that's how it goes. Let's see. At this point, you're just, why don't you believe that there should be stronger gun control? Probably because gun control doesn't work. At this point, you're just trying to defy everything I say and not even answer my questions. He's countering your answers. He's countering your questions with answers and with basic debate, logic, answers. He's giving you answers. He's giving you reasons. He's giving you logical reasons. And you're rejecting them. Who's being the stubborn one? Not only that, he's the one who commented about. He's the original commentator. Andrew is the original commentator. You're the one who came out and said, hey, let's start this show. And I'm running out of memory on my computer. I have 4 GB left to record with. Oh, lovely. Let's see, at this point, you just identify everything I say, not even answer my questions. As to why you think anybody should be able to walk into a store and buy a gun, and not like bleep, it's not affecting you. You're 16. It's not affecting your dad. He already owns guns. Unless he's a collector, but that's weird. Why? There are weirder collections out there. There's a museum that has a, I'm going to put the biological term, I don't mean to be crude, but penis collection. They have a collection of male body parts in jars. And collecting guns is weird. Some of those guns are historical guns. They are very historical guns. Some of them are a couple 100 years old. Some of them survived World War II. I mean, seriously. There are weirder collections out there. People collect cars. There's a guy who's collect tanks and armored vehicles. Okay, that's what he collects. I don't see that as odd in any way, shape, or form. That's what he's doing. That's what he likes. That's what they like to do. Yeah, nice side comment there. I mean, you don't see these guys running down the road blowing houses up. Why? Because it's illegal to have the ammo. You have to have class 3 weapons license or class 4. You have to have a special weapons license to operate artillery and stuff like that. So what the heck, man? And the only people it's affecting are the mentally ill who plan on buying guns and put innocent people at risk. Yes. And it doesn't matter whether they bought it legally or illegally. They're going to get guns. They're going to find something to cause harm, to put innocent people at risk. Whether it's running them over with a car, throwing acid in their face. Heck, you want to know something? It could have been worse. It could have been a heck of a lot worse. Poison. Ever think of that one? Hmm? Poison? He could have killed everyone in the school. Think about that. Lunchtime, bottle of cyanide in the mix, you're dead. Everyone is dead. Yet, you're running around talking about how guns are bad, we should get rid of guns. There are other ways. You're ignoring them. She bullied the shooter. Facts. It's true. Ostracized. I think I went over this. I don't know. But yeah, ostracized. It is. She said in. It was a little short bit of her speech. It's like, you're saying that we shouldn't have ostracized him. You know what ostracize means? It's to like exclude them from the group on purpose. To just completely have nothing to do with them on purpose because of some kind of whatever, some lousy reason. Let's see. And then this guy here, again. Then why would you say nobody needs an AR-15? I'll answer your question. Because it is an infringement on law-abiding citizens. There's your answer, and it would affect me and my dad where I live. In Texas, a minor can possess a gun with parents' consent. So yes, it would affect me and my family. No, I'm not taking anything out of Constitution. The Constitution says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, shall not be infringed. That's the entire Second Amendment. So no, I am not taking anything out of context, and nowhere does it say that only the militia gets the gun right. So I will change my point. You want to make it harder for law-abiding citizens to obtain guns when you don't even know if it will stop crime. A criminal can still easily, illegally obtain a gun with your proposals. Yes. Yes. This guy here. Let's see. We are allowed to have weapons so the government can't take us completely over and force a dictatorship or kingdom. A very bad, dark, iron fist kingdom in that sense. Um, those in power are not constitutionally allowed to have more power or authority over those they govern. We can have those because the government and the people are supposed to be equal. Unfortunately, people like you keep voting for more government control and actually causing the very thing those weapons are supposed to prevent. I like this, but this is just, you're extremely ignorant on mental health. Okay. 3 days ago. So yeah, that's about it. I've finished up this thread here of comments. I've had my little rant and kind of a debunking. So yeah, that's that. I'll have to string all these together somehow. Alright, over and out.